Hello, Dave. I know how much Mega Geek hates this, but today is Sunday, August 7th, 2022. I am the Bro 9000, and I trust you are all functioning well today. Welcome to the show, everybody. I am Mr. Brown. Today is the news of the week, folks. A lot to get through, much happenings this week. So I think, shall we just start as we mean to go on then and get the bodies out? First up, she's new to the channel. It is Atomic Blonde LDN.
Hello, thanks for having me on. I'm absolutely chuffed. So really looking forward to getting into some of the topics and having some fun.
She's keen, isn't she, everybody? Hello, my darling. You all right, yes? You good, yeah?
I am good, thank you. Yeah, very well.
Would you like to perhaps tell the peeps in the chat who you are?
Sure. My handle or user is Atomic Blonde. The LDN is for London because that's where I'm based. It's a completely new venture for me, getting into YouTubing. I love my nerdy stuff. I always have done. And obviously been following YouTubers for quite a while, and then suddenly thought, and just where things have gone over recent years, and I get really annoyed, like a lot of us do, about our franchises.
She's woken up everybody.
And just like, do you know what? I'm just going to go for it. I want to talk about this stuff, and I want to talk to like-minded people. Happy to talk to people who don't even agree with me, because I think that's a really healthy thing. Let's have some healthy debates. That's totally cool. Just sort of love my sci-fi, love sort of thrillers and horrors. So very eclectic taste. So some weird stuff, and obviously a lot of classic British sci-fi as well.
So looking forward to this, yes?
I am, yeah, thank you.
We will be gentle with you, yes?
Do your worst, it's fine.
Shall we get the next guest out?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Next, he's a channel favourite on Sunday nights. It is the wonderful Mad Cat 83.
What's up, nerds?
Hey, Matt, you all right, pal?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. How are you doing?
Yeah, we're good. How's the channel going, my friend?
Oh, slowly but surely.
Still enjoying yourself, yes?
Yeah. It's all my shows have ended, so I've got to find stuff for the next couple of weeks to talk about until Star Wars and Marvel and everything starts back up. But it should be an interesting time.
Is August quiet usually?
In terms of like Hollywood, yeah. August is so.
Plenty going on this week, though, wasn't there? So...
Oh, for sure. Lots of good things. Okay, or not so good things. I don't know, depending on how you look at it.
Ooh. Yes, indeed. So you're all good, yes, my friend?
Yes.
You know what my next question is, don't you?
Yeah, I say do it. Bring them out.
Okay, so... She is the keeper of the bag of dicks. I will say that again. She is the keeper of the bag of dicks. It is Rennie A.
Hey, could we change my introduction? I really don't like that, to be honest. How's everybody doing?
I don't know now.
Good.
I mean, I don't know. I just didn't like it. I'm sorry. It was funny one time.
Oh, okay. I won't do it again. I'm sorry, miss.
Well, everybody else gets a respectful introduction. I get a shit one. So I'm like, oh.
Well,
okay.
You had a very good one until certain things happened in your life. So I can't really go down that avenue anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
So you're more than welcome to come up with something new.
Okay.
So, hello, Rennie. So other than me pissing you off, you're okay, yes?
Yes.
Welcome to Sunday nights. It's been a while.
Yeah, I know it has. I will not talk about Star Wars anymore because, it died for me with with Disney, Lucasfilm. So no point in me watching it because I'm just going to get angry. And yeah, you know, I'd rather not do that to myself. So yeah.
This one's for you, Rennie. In the chat. That's me cancelled. Sorry, folks. I fucked up. Sorry, Rennie. Sorry.
It happens to the best of us. It happens.
Sorry, cancelled. So you're good, Rennie? Yes.
Yes, I'm good. How about you?
I am not too bad. You know what my next question is, don't you?
Yes. Bring him out.
Here he is, folks. The youth of the channel. It is the wonderful Dark Sith Lord. Chord.
Hello there. What is it with all these new introductions? Have you been rewriting your scripts?
I've been reading the dictionary again, yes.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. The little kids one with like colourful pictures.
Yeah,
and stuff.
my pocket dictionary, yes.
Pocket
You good,
dictionary.
Lord?
I'm okay, thanks. Although I noticed we've actually got 2 Americans with us, so I sort of feel this instinctive need to clutch my box of tea very closely to myself.
No, you can have it. You can have your tea. You can have your tea.
Is that a thing? Do Americans steal people's tea?
No, but you do tend to sort of throw it in lakes and the sea.
Stop.
And
That
all the
was
rest
so
of
long
it.
ago.
Well, you say it's so long ago, but you know it's tea and an English, and these things you sort of have to. You know,
Oh dear.
Grudges are held.
I don't even like tea, so you can have it. You can just have it.
Between you and I, Lord, it's the Renier I'm worried about. So everything good in Lord Chordland?
Yeah, it's reasonable. I'm juicing at the moment, and I'm on day 5 of 14. So I haven't had food for 5 days, and I have another 9 of them to go.
Yeah, I've done that before. It's pretty hardcore.
It's not fun.
I had a fantastic vegan burger tonight.
Yeah.
Like, I know I do my juice cleanses, but I can't go more than 3 days. So I don't know how you're doing like 14. That's insane.
Hardcore
With some difficulty.
Yeah, I would be ready to like punch someone. I'm just saying.
Well, that's you anyway. Without juicing,
Well,
Franco Walker. I do know. Franco says, "Hello, Lord Chord. Congrats on the 20K."
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think we're up to 21 now, actually. So
rub it in, rub it
in. But the Thor video, they've finally stopped plugging it in the algorithm, so the views have started to drop off, which means I now have to get back to other things. So I've actually got a Prey review. I know we're talking about that later, which is in the works. Started that yesterday. And then Stranger Things and how it can save cinema potentially. And then I've got other things as well, so there's more to come.
I think we might be discussing Prey, maybe do a review if you're up for that at some point.
Yeah.
To kind of complement your thorough review when it comes out. When's it coming out?
Of it by the time. Well, the idea was to get it out today, but then I've only got 6 minutes of the footage done, and it's 46 minutes long. So hopefully tomorrow, and if not tomorrow, then Tuesday. But at some point in the first half of this week, hopefully.
In the chats, hello Z, there are no nice vegan burgers. Time Profit, vegan burgers are made out of sawdust. Yummy. Everybody's well, yes. Should we just get on with it?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, we are expecting the Mega Geek at some point. He's been doing his filming of his Rebecca Gold stuff today, so hopefully Ian will join us in a moment or two. So episode 81, end of week musings today, Sunday, August 7th, 2022. I'll say hello to the chat. Good to see all the boys and girls in there. Mr. Brown Alliance, please like, share, subscribe. Free eye test. 60% of my viewers are non-subs. Do it. Okay, so this was probably the biggest thing to drop in entertainment, or the biggest program, film, call it what you will, to drop this week. Prey. Who's seen Prey?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Atomic Blonde, you're new.
Mhm.
Would you like to go
Mhm.
first? What do you think?
I actually quite liked it. You know, it's not the greatest film ever made. It's certainly not as good as the first and second films, but I think it's it's a good addition to the franchise. You know, when we saw the trailers and how it was marketed, it looked like it was going to be an absolute dumpster fire of woke and intersectional feminism and
Yeah.
the bar was pretty low going into it. I really wasn't expecting a lot, but I was really pleasantly surprised. I mean, there's a few things through it where you kind of roll your eyes a bit, but it's nothing's in your face. It's not preachy. I mean, she's quite useless for most of the film, which is quite refreshing. So I think it's quite polarizing from what I've seen. Either people sort of like myself think yes, and it's okay, good popcorn watch, or people just hate it. So I don't think there's much of a middle ground for it, but I think it's a pretty good effort actually. I don't know if you want me to go into any spoilers or anything. But
I was going to say, you say people hate it. Do you think that's unjustified?
I think it's a bit strong. I mean, it's not going to be everybody's cup of tea, and if we all like the same things, it would be boring. But I think some people have gone in, I think, unnecessarily harshly, especially on the Naru character, saying she's obnoxious and she's all raised right. I really didn't take that from her character.
Yeah.
I mean, she's very strong-willed, and obviously she's trying to be more than just a medicine woman. She wants to hunt, so she's very forceful about that. And yes, I mean, yes, she doesn't take no for an answer. That's not necessarily obnoxious. So, but I think this thing is just not going to be for everybody. And people are saying it's woke. I really don't think it is, though. I mean, like I said, there's a few eye-rolling points in there, but
Yeah.
I think it's actually quite measured and balanced.
Okay.
Given some of the films that have come out recently, I think they've made a good effort to make quite a, I guess, middle of the road entertaining film.
Rennie, you've just finished watching. What do you think?
That's correct. Yeah, like Atomic Blonde says, I thought it was actually a pretty decent film. Was it one of the best films I've ever seen? No, but I went in with low expectations because everybody's got that stigma about it, like, oh, well, it's woke AF, it's got a female protagonist. The Predator was rumored to be female. And so you go in with all these, negative connotations thinking, okay, well, it's going to suck. And I really didn't think it was bad, but I wouldn't call it one of the greatest movies I've ever seen, but I thought that it was pretty interesting to look at the dynamic of, a primitive version of Predator fighting a primitive version of humans. So that was kind of an interesting aspect that I didn't expect, because when you heard about it being set, way back when,
Yeah.
you're thinking, okay, well, they're not going to have a chance because of all the technology that these aliens have. These people are just going to get demolished. And that didn't happen. So that was quite interesting. I did find the lead a little bit annoying from time to time, but it's just one of those, when you're a kid and people are trying to hold you back and it's like, no, I want to do what I want to do. It's just one of those kind of things. So you just kind of have to get over that aspect. But, I thought it was interesting, and I liked the dynamic between her and her brother. I thought that was very cool. And I don't know. The one nitpick I have is the look of the Predator. I thought that was odd. But other than that, I really don't have much to criticize, other than the effects. The effects were definitely obvious and cheesy.
Did it seem like a TV movie?
Yeah, you could definitely tell it wasn't made on a big budget, and it definitely shows, but at the same time, it wasn't as if you couldn't suspend, disbelief for a little bit and just enjoy the show, because it actually was a pretty decent movie and I was quite pleasantly surprised.
Story is everything, isn't it? So,
Yeah,
Time
it
Prophet in
is.
the chat. It is woke. She's acting like a modern woman, not an Indian woman. Okay.
No, I think at least to me, she looks like she's a teenager, so she's still a child.
Yeah.
And she's still kind of like, whatever, I do what I want. That's how I was when I was a teen. So
Time Prophet, Rennie's cancelling you. In the chat, intersectional feminism is not the same as woke.
Correct.
That is correct.
Is that a statement or a question?
That'll be a statement. Matt Cat, have you seen it yet?
I did. I did not like it. It was sorry, ladies. I'm gonna have to disagree with you. This movie sucked. It sucked so hard. And the only part I liked was the last like 20 minutes, but even then I was like, oh, this is all right. But if I never watch this movie again, I will be just fine. I did think that Nuri, or whatever her name is, modern was the best word to describe her for me, because I was like, I don't even know how they acted back in the day, but I was like, this girl, I just wanted her to I was waiting for her to Z snap and be like, "Oh no, you didn't, Mr. Predator." And I'm like, I don't. The first 40 minutes of this movie, I could have dealt without completely. Like once those French dudes show up, that's when it started to get better. But I was all like, by that time, I was like, this is boring all the way around. I didn't. Although the guy that played her brother, he did a really good job. I like him. I think this is his first movie. But he was my favorite part about the movie, and then they killed him. Oh, I was like, oh no, and stuff.
Spoilers.
Oh yeah, spoilers. Sorry, my bad.
Spoilers, everything.
But I just I didn't like it. But at the same time, I didn't like the last, like, I don't know, like how many is out now? Like 14. The last 14 Predator movies. So it's it is what it is. But I'll be there for the next one. I'll tell you that. If they make another Predator movie, I'm like, all right, let's do this. So
Time Prophet says it wasn't terrible, but terribly unrealistic.
Yeah, well, some of the times, like when she was sliding through the forest, like on her knee and everything, I was like, can you slide that far? This isn't Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, you guys. Like, I don't understand. Like, she's like flying around. She's like not even kind of hitting herself with that rope axe thing going on. I was all like, all of a sudden she's like great at throwing an axe with a rope attached to it. I'm all like, I don't know. It was just the whole time I was like rolling my eyes because I was like, this is ridiculous. Yeah, that's my story.
New to the channel, Clifton Bench Gladly. The alien killing machine's Achilles heel is teenage girls. Bit like... Savage comments. Lord, you've obviously seen this because you're doing your review. Thoughts, my friend?
Okay. Well, if Mega Geek were here, I know he would strongly push back on the suggestion that the film wasn't woke, and then I'd be in the sort of the usual position of being sandwiched between bodies, because I sort of sit somewhere in the middle. I think it was. Representative line of dialogue being, "Why do you want to hunt? Because you will tell me that I can't." Only interaction with any of the ancillary characters is, well, they're all dicks apart from her brother. That's the only thing there is to speak about as far as the other characters go. So when she tries to tag along, they say, we don't need a cook. But she might be good at medicine. Like the usual sort of bog standard. I think what makes this a problem, I mean, I can sort of forgive that kind of thing. The problem is, though, that this is a film with one character in it. And that is the only thing about that character. I mean, that's the only dialogue she exchanges, meaningful dialogue with anyone. We get it set up very early on that this is a put upon young woman who's independent-minded, and what she wants to do is be just as good as the men. And that in itself is not a problem. The problem comes with the fact, well, there are many problems, but one of the principal ones comes with the fact that this is an imposition of, and I know Rennie says that, as a teenager, that's what you were like, and that's fine. Most young people are like that in this country or in America. But we're talking about Native American society. And what this is kind of interesting, I think, as a case in point, is that the very same people who are likely to go around telling you that, the West is culturally imperialist are the same people who cannot leave any part of history untouched by their own cultural, political kind of imperialism. And going back to Native American society and just repeating the standard independent young Western woman wanting to prove herself type of story. So that, to begin with, I don't think was particularly good about the film. It's otherwise peculiar because normally when you say a film is half good, you mean that there are some good bits in it and there are some bad bits and they're all kind of mixed together. I think it's a half good film in the sense that, unlike Nat Cat, I actually enjoyed the first half of the film. I think the first half of the film did world building spectacularly. The location shots are beautiful. The acting is abysmal. There are no characters, but the way in which it looks, the way in which they do try to recreate the sense of Native American way of life with the building of tools, the building of medicines, the using of herbs and sticks and tools that they find in the forest, that's all really beautifully done. And in places it quite obviously takes from The Revenant in its sort of cinematic style. It's very silent. Right. There's not a huge amount of dialogue, which is for the best because they don't know how to write dialogue. It's the latter half of the film that just becomes absurdist in exactly the way that all the other Predator sequels have been. Am I allowed to spoil a little bit?
I will say, folks, there's going to be spoilers. So if you've not seen it and you don't want spoilers,
yeah, do it. Everybody knew what they were coming.
Look away now.
Okay, because in the
Spoilers,
final fight,
folks.
the final fight scene is when. So from the second half of the film onwards, is when it really unwisely starts doing overt callbacks to the original film. You even have one of the same lines: "If it bleeds, we can kill it," and it avoided this for the entire first half, which made it original and made it good and interesting to watch. It was telling something new, not particularly well at all times, but it was doing something new. Second half of the film, you start getting these overt callbacks like that line, but most importantly, and I think most instructively, being the fight scene at the end, because what she does is she goes around, she sets up the traps in exactly the way we see Arnie do it in the first film.
God.
But in this fight scene, she is never at risk. She is never in peril. She outsmarts the Predator from beginning to end of the battle. So there's no real risk there. She's reached the end of her journey before the film is finished, and there's still a good while left of it, which takes all the stakes away from the fight. But the most ridiculous thing is how they turn the Predator into a fucking moron, because for anyone who hasn't seen this already and doesn't want the spoilers, you can't really spoil something that's already spoiled.
Folks.
The Predator cuts off its own arm and then shoots itself in the head.
Yes.
That's how the film ends.
What?
And that is very fucking dumb. So I didn't go into this film with, I'm actually quite good at, I make a deliberate effort to discard bad stuff that comes into all the coverage around it. I try and ignore all of that stuff to make my disappointment fresh. I really liked the first half of the film, pleasantly surprised. And then by the end of it, it sunk back into ridiculousness. So I don't think woke is the main problem with the film. I just think it's a problem. I just think the real problem is that they had a concept and then they did well and then they wrecked all their hard work. So
bottled it.
That was a rant. I apologize. You can tell I've been scripting my use on this.
No, we love rants. In the chat, going back on the kind of member bearing stuff, does she say, "Get to the chopper"? Probably not.
No.
I wish she had said it. I would have laughed.
If she'd been like, there's a big swinging axe somewhere, and then she can say, "Get to the chopper." It's the only way you can fit into that world.
New to the channel, Fenhelm. Hello, Fenhelm. The Predator saves her though when she's in danger.
Is the bear thing kind of?
I was gonna say I think more that wasn't intentional. And she couldn't even, the Predator couldn't even really see her because she was eating and wearing that, what's that flower called or whatever that they were using for medicine?
Yeah, I don't remember.
It made her invisible to the Predator.
Yeah, I kept calling it orange spice.
Yeah, I can't remember.
I didn't mind that. Like, that wasn't terrible because they set it up in one of the first scenes in the film. Is this plant lowers your blood temperature or your body temperature, and they use it right at the beginning of the film to heal, or she uses it to heal a fellow hunter. And so there is actually payoff for that. That's quite good writing compared to most modern films. That was all right. It was just that the Predators, it only attacks you if you're a threat thing, was really sketchily deployed in this as well, because it doesn't attack her when she's tied to a tree because it doesn't think she's a threat, but it does track her even though it doesn't think she's a threat in order to turn up in the final fight scene when she is one again. Yeah.
That was a bad line because it attacked everything that moved. So I think that was pointless. But yeah, that's the only thing. I don't think it saved her so much because it couldn't see her. So I don't know.
Romeo in the chat. Wow. Wasn't going to see this film. Now just going to pretend it doesn't exist.
I don't know. I would still recommend you watch it because the end is so disappointing, I would say, precisely because the beginning, if you look past the sort of the "I'm a strong woman" stuff, is really good. When the dialogue stops and you see her exploring and actually showing her skills, you kind of become interested in her character in a way that the dialogue sort of doesn't do justice to. If you hear the line like, "Well, because you will think that I can't," that just puts you off. But when you see her and she's not a bad, there's potential in the character, in other words. it's beautifully shot, and it does some things really intelligently. So I like the fact that what they're trying to do throughout is to portray the Predator and the French colonialist type people as effectively one and the same. So these are equivalent. They're set up to be equivalent the alien. Their habits, their mannerisms, their threat level is equivalent the alien, and that's an attempt to portray a kind of culture shock that a Native American person would undergo. And I think that's it wasn't perfectly done, but it's a really good idea. The film had more good ideas than any Predator sequel has done. It just didn't really know how to finish them off, and then it just had to lapse into generic action crap at the end. But there was something to recommend it, I think.
Ivan the Mad Vandal. It's called the Bullshit Flower, apparently.
Oh, get out.
Okay, we'll leave the last word to Atomic Blonde. Is it a worthy addition to the Predator franchise?
Worthy. I mean, I'd say yeah. You know, weighing a lot, like Lord said, there is some really good stuff in there. So I enjoyed it. Yeah, there is some, a lot of suspending disbelief, but it's also a hell of a lot better than some of the other entries. I mean, The Predator was just shockingly bad. Alien vs Predator Requiem was just that's a film that should be destroyed and never distributed again. So when you look at it against the back end of the franchise, I think it's head and shoulders better than those. But like I said, there is some wasted potential there. They necessarily didn't have the budget. You never know how much studios interfere and all that kind of thing. But I would watch it again, so I'm going to say yes.
Right. Okay. So, okay, I've still to watch it. I kind of skipped a few clips. It seemed okay, so I'll give it a watch tomorrow. Okay. So, this dropped this week on Netflix, didn't it? Sandman, and it seems to be very, very big. Who has seen it?
I read the comic book, but I haven't seen the show yet.
I've seen the first few episodes. I'm just about to start episode 6. So,
Matty, do you want to tell us what the comics are about then?
I mean, it's just basically there's like Morbius, he gets like imprisoned or whatever, and he like controls dreams and stuff. And then like I have to. It's been like a long time since I read them, but he's been away for a long time, and then he comes back because he gets released because I think one of the captor's kids is not paying attention and like releases him. I can't remember off the top of my head. I know people are gonna be like, "You didn't read the comic books." That's what they said in my trailer reaction. I was like, "I'm sorry, it's been like 15 years since I read the comic book," but
it's something to do with dreams, isn't it?
Yeah, because he like creates them and stuff. But I remember really liking it. I like Neil Gaiman. I like his writing.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember all of it.
In the chat, hello Daniel. Sandman 6.5 out of 10. Plot jumps around a bit after episode 5. I know Romeo's watched it. Want to weigh in on Sandman. Ep 1 and Ep 2 boring, but Ep 5 is brilliant, really gripping, and David Thewlis is disarming and sinister.
Yeah, I think that's fair based on what I've seen. And episode 5 is actually, I think, as I understand it, a very well-known, iconic part of the comics when they came out. So, and it's quite disturbing. And like I say, the fact they actually went there, I think everybody's actually quite impressed with that because it's very, very dark, shall we say. But yeah, I'd also agree with this. Say the first 2, I found it a little bit of a slog. Say 5 was excellent. I'm about to start 6. I say jury's out for me on this one. I need to watch the whole thing to decide whether I like it or I don't. But I'm sort of struggling with the guy that's playing the Sandman at the moment. It's Tom Sturridge. He's just sort of very, I know, he sort of mumbles quite a bit when he's delivering his lines, and he's just quite stoic and sort of pouty. I'm not quite there with it yet, but certainly what I've seen so far in terms of visually, it's very, very good.
Yeah, it looks like they've spent some money on it. Yes.
Yeah, with the CGI, there's a couple of bits where you can clearly see it's like green screen behind them.
Yeah.
And the main, again, in terms of world building and what the dream world he's domain looks like and all of that is very, very visually stunning.
Daniel Smith, bit like he was in Wonder Man, but better.
I've not seen him in that. I
Okay,
don't know. What I will say is I've got the Sandman audio, and it's voiced by James McAvoy in
Right.
an English accent. But what I hear, I think Neil Gaiman must have had a certain voice in his head, because Tom Sawyer is basically, he sounds a lot. It's up to me. It sounds like he's trying to do an impression of James McAvoy's audio. It's a
Okay.
very similar sort of tone, and I can't really get away from the fact it just feels like he's doing an impression of him. But I don't know.
Look who's here, everybody. It is the Mega Geek himself, back from his shooting. It is Ian David Diaz.
Woo woo.
Hey, Ian.
Hi.
Hello. Sorry I'm late. Yeah, just had a few problems, but they're solved now, so that's quite good.
Moving lights, was it?
Yeah, moving lights and all kinds of problems. But
Aw.
yeah, no, I'm here now, so
Are you good, my friend?
yeah, I'm okay. I'm just a bit tired, but yeah, I'm all right. So what did I miss?
We just talked about Prey a moment ago.
Right.
Everybody's kind of saying it's okay, not the best, but it's certainly not the worst.
Well, I mean, I saw it. It was okay. It's a lot of people are saying it's just as good as the first one. No way. The first one had fun. It had action. The music was triumphant as far as I'm concerned in the first one. This music was kind of just non-existent in this film, but I did like her performance, and the ending was a bit of a letdown because they just copied the first one, the way she kind of did away with the Predator. And also you get the feeling when you're watching this film that they didn't really, it seems like they didn't really own the complete rights to the Predator,
Because
if you
the
know
look?
what I mean.
Do you?
Sorry?
Is it because of the look of the Predator?
That-
Because
yeah.
I thought that was odd.
Yeah, that too. And also like little things, like for instance, remember in the first one he had that little gun on his shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember? And the technology was far more advanced than this guy. Also, the Predator was a bit of a pussy in this. Let's face it. I mean, the Indians took him on and slashed his legs and everything, and then Arnie with his guns and his pals and all that, they couldn't even hit him with a bullet, for Christ's sakes. In the first one. So this one was a bit. So I got a feeling that they probably didn't own the full rights to it. That's why they couldn't use the theme. That's why they couldn't. He didn't have that metal mask on. Do you know what I mean? And stuff like that. So I don't know. The truth will come out. But it was okay. It is worth your time as far as I'm concerned.
Okay. In the chats, Franco. Hello, Ian.
Hello.
Okay, so we were just talking about Sandman. Have you seen Sandman yet?
No, never read the comics either. It's Gaiman, is it? Neil Gaiman?
Yeah, they dropped a couple of days ago on Netflix.
I can't say I'm a fan of his, but I'll probably catch up with it sooner or later. I can't really comment because I don't know the comic, and I just don't. I haven't seen it. So
Z says it was 20% different Predator.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else could be watching Sandman?
I'm intrigued. I haven't seen it yet, but I might tune in for that one.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it.
Lord, is this your type of thing?
If I know nothing about it, if I have time, yes, but time
You're too
is
busy, aren't you?
is a lot on at the moment.
Okay, right. Okay. As I said, dropped a couple of days ago. People seem to be liking it, so probably worth checking out, folks. Okay. Final episode dropped this week. Who has seen the Orville?
I did.
I haven't seen the newer season, but I've seen 1 and 2.
Matty, would you like to go first?
Sure.
What did you think of this?
I thought it was good. It was I'm not quite sure if this is the final season because they haven't said anything about renewal.
Yes.
But if it is the final season, then I thought that it was a good series finale, and I liked it a lot. They had like a cameo where they brought back an old character that was nice, and there was some other things in there. I'm trying to remember all of them.
Sandwich.
Yeah, the sandwich. I loved the sandwich bit. That was Gordon's my favorite character. So anytime he's in there, he's my favorite character. So anytime he's doing something, I always enjoy it. But I really liked this episode. I thought it was good. And I do hope they do another season. I would like to see another one, but we'll see.
Daniel Smith in the chats. I want to see the hardcore forest scene in the Orville. Cash waiting.
Right on. That was pretty.
Daniel Smith is kibble short of being one of the best modern comic book writers of all time. That's a joke that very few people apparently got.
I got it. I know who Kibble Smith is.
He's the new Warriors guy.
Yeah, I knew who it was.
Is he the safe space bloke?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's
proper cringe.
Yeah, whatever happened to Safe Space and was it Snowflake? Was it?
Yeah, they got canned, thankfully.
Yeah.
Screen time.
Although I'll tell you right now that it's no longer coming out, I really want it to, so I can see how bad it is.
It's like Batgirl. It's apparently it was so bad that they can't release it. That makes me want to watch it more.
Exactly. Yeah. I was like, I'd pay. Yeah, I was like, put it out on digital. I'll pay $30 to watch it. I want to see how bad it is. So. Yeah, same thing with that comic book. I'll pay money for it.
Atomic Blonde. I know you're into the Orville. Thoughts? Did you like it?
I loved it. It's I mean, based on last week's, which was like a full-on, sensory overload and all the fighting and all of that, which is amazing. I mean, that could have been a season finale on its own. So like this one completely shifted gear. I went, I think, much more back to the season 1 and 2 humor, more light-hearted touch. So yeah, I thought it was really fun. There was, there's lots of stuff like saying Bortus and that in the woods, and Bortus dressed up as Elvis. I mean,
that's quite good,
I don't know what Seth was smoking when he came up with that one, but it was just hilarious. With the worst bachelor party ever.
Worst.
The absolute worst. Yeah. I mean, granted, it's for a robot, but even still. But yeah, I thought there's lots of humor. It's a good way to end the series. And like Matt says that, I think it kind of rounded out season 3. And if we don't get any more, you've kind of got a complete package of stories. There is one sort of loose thread, which is all around Ed's daughter that it didn't, I think most of us are expecting a lot more to happen there and didn't, but hopefully he's hoping for a season 4, and I'm sure that'll get carried forward to that. But yeah, I thought it was really fun. Great way to end it. Like I say, some good callbacks, and the fact that the egg sandwich turned up was just brilliant. They never forget any plot points. That's what I love about this show. It's very tidy, very complete, and definitely worth a watch. Just sort of chill out to, put your feet up, have fun. Every episode's got a different theme. It's got different genres, if you like, but it all hangs together. That it still feels like the same show. It's not jarring at all. So. I'm a big fan of the Orville, and I'm really hoping it gets to season 4 because it certainly deserves it. It's one of the best written shows on TV right now. So fingers crossed.
You don't think it felt like a goodbye this episode?
I don't think it was a complete. I think it was a little bit hedge your bets. It felt a little bit to me that there's enough in there that, like I say, if it doesn't get renewed, it's a kind of nod to the fans, and it's a nice light-hearted episode and a little bit sort of happy ever after for Isaac and Claire, that you could end it. But like I say, there are some story threads that haven't completed. So I didn't feel it was a complete, we're done. But it's done enough that you don't feel sort of robbed if it doesn't get renewed.
Yeah. And you're a woman. What did you think about her wedding dresses? Because I thought they were all like, "Oh, I love that dress." Yeah. I was like, that blue one. I was like, ugh. I was like,
oh no, I think the one she got married in was probably the nicest one out of the ones she was trying on. But they were shocking. I was like, wow, if that's what I mean. Some of them almost like the big toilet roll thing from the 80s. It was like, wow.
Yeah. I was like, don't lie to her. You're making her look bad on her wedding day. And so,
in the chat, Time Prophet, Dr. Finn in the Orville is a racist. She makes a Kalon change his appearance to a human when they get married.
Oh, I don't think there's anything in there that she said he had to be in his human form that I can remember. And that's something that he chose to do back at the beginning of season 3. He did it for her. She never asked him to. And I think she would have married him either way, to be honest.
Right on. Also, if they do have a season 4, I'm telling you right now, there better be no singing in season 4 because I've had enough. Like that, the actor that plays Gordon, he's got a beautiful singing voice and everything, but he sang 3 times. The one blonde girl sang, and then Bortus sang. I've had enough. This isn't Glee. It's the Orville, so we just no more.
Well, but Seth MacFarlane's really into singing, and I'm surprised he hasn't done so himself. He loves to sing, and he does it all the time on Family Guy. So I'm not shocked that music is in it, and I won't be shocked if he keeps doing it.
He has done everything else other than sing himself on this.
Yeah, for sure, including take a back seat because he's like barely in this show.
I have a suspicion this could go to feature film.
I would watch a movie.
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah.
I think if there was going to be another series, it would have been announced because everybody knew it was popular. Potential. Yeah, everybody knew this was going to be a winner before it was even released.
I mean, I think at the moment, I think it's a rumor mill overdrive. So all the casts were released out of their contracts, so everybody assumed it wasn't going to get renewed. But this is obviously, it's taken 3 years for this to come out, so I assume that was so they could do other work and things like that. So they're in a situation where obviously they're putting it onto Disney Plus in the States. It's obviously Disney Plus here. They want to see how it does on there. If I was the cast, and certainly Seth, I'd be renegotiating my contracts hard. I'm sure they're all asking for a lot more money if that's the case. So I think it could be some of the hold up can actually be all these behind the scenes conversations going on, because the absolute key for Seth is to keep creative control. You don't want Disney putting their paws anywhere near this show.
I was going to say, I wonder
they will absolutely tank it.
I wonder if it's the Disney thing that's going to be a problem. I think maybe MacFarlane doesn't want anything to do with it.
Well, I mean, he got shafted by Disney, didn't he? Quite badly a little while ago. So
yes.
And he said he didn't ever want to work with Disney again. And obviously Hulu's a subsidiary of Disney. So yeah, I think I'm sure there's some real hardball conversations going on.
Does he own the Orville, or is it owned by Disney?
I assume he owns it. Sorry, Ian.
Yeah, I know.
I don't think he's there.
I'm here.
Ian, do you think who actually owns the Orville?
What do you mean? Who owns it?
It's the rights, isn't it?
He probably shares that. But look, we don't know what deal he made to go to Hulu. So he probably did a deal with Hulu, and maybe they own 20% of the rights or 50% of the rights. I don't know.
Yes, because when season 1 and 2 were on, it was Fox Television, wasn't it? And then they got
no, but they were just the distributors, though.
Right. Okay.
And I don't know if Seth is clever as we all think he is. He would never have sold the I can't remember what it's called, rights to the show. There's a special word for it. You know, just like Ricky Gervais, he never sold the intellectual rights to the BBC. That's why he's making money out of the Americans. Yeah, when they did their version. Yeah. So I don't know what deal Seth made here with Hulu. Who knows? I don't know.
I think that's probably going to be something to do with why it's not being announced season 4.
I know he did retweet something earlier today, somebody saying that there really needs to be a season 4. And I know he retweeted them and said, we hope so. So I don't know if he knows yet. But, you know, the way of things these days is that we'll be sitting here in 3 or 4 years' time and we'll have the Orville written and directed by J.J. Abrams.
Oh, God.
Why? Why would you say that?
And on that note, we'll move on. Okay. Better Call Saul. Anybody seen this?
No.
Okay.
I haven't had a chance to watch.
Okay, it's just going to be me then. So there's 2 episodes left now. This episode was more flash forward stuff, and spoilers, everybody. We saw Bryan Cranston and Aaron. Is it Aaron Paul?
Yeah, Aaron.
Yes.
I think they were on screen for 2 minutes. It was like they'd never been away. 2 episodes left. I think the Breaking Bad stuff is a token gesture to the fans, possibly.
Yeah,
I
I
would
think
assume
probably
so.
is.
Yeah, I think they've got plans for Saul in the flash forwards, but that's just me. But we will find out in 2 weeks. Still great television, folks. So well written, great characters. Bob Odenkirk. You know what you're going to get with him. So recommended. Okay, we'll move on.
Cool.
Speaking of Bob Odenkirk, we literally recommend this every week. So I thought I'd put the graphic up for it this week. Ian, thoughts on Nobody?
Loved it. Well, I loved it, but I must admit the trailer gave a different story to the actual story that was presented in the film. I don't know if I loved the trailer. That's the first thing that got me interested in it. But the trailer lied to us. I don't know if you guys noticed that. What you got in the film wasn't what was suggested in the
I
trailer.
don't think I've seen it.
Haven't seen it.
So the trailer suggests that he is a nobody, and that he doesn't have any training or anything. Like he's just a father of a family, and his place gets robbed, and he didn't do anything, and then he decides to do something. And then there are lines in the trailer that says, "You're what is it? You're this person knows that you owed him a debt, and now you've been resurrected. He knows of your resurrection."
Yeah.
And so you get the impression that they're coming after him because he's pretended to be dead, got married to someone, and now they're coming after him. But in the film, it's not, because the word "nobody" is a code word for the agents that was
For the program, yeah.
programmed, in the CIA. So it's very different. But saying that, I just thought it was really entertaining. I just thought it was a lot of fun.
This is the same universe as John Wick, so I think you know what you're going to get, folks.
But they're making a second one.
Yes,
they're
the mighty
shooting it.
Bijot. Yeah, hello Bijot. They confirmed working on Nobi 2.
Yeah, they have. Yeah, so
Time Profits. The bus scene is the best.
yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
There is I watched a YouTube video with I think it was I think, was it a doctor, a trauma surgeon, going through all the injuries on the bus scene, and what when Bob Odenkirk would do this, and when he was punching people and sticking knives in people's throat, a trauma surgeon went through all of that, and it was genuinely interesting. It's a good watch.
Have you seen the outtakes, the stuff that didn't make it into the film, like the conversation that the barber, the black guy, I can't remember his name, Colin Salmon, has with Michael Ironside and his son? You ever see those clips?
I haven't seen the outtakes now.
Yeah, they're on YouTube. If you write in outtakes or clips that didn't make it into the film of Nobody, you'll get a bunch of them, and they're very interesting. So yeah, take a look.
Any of you other guys seen Nobody?
Yeah,
I loved it. Yeah,
yeah, it's
good.
great. Love it.
Lord, you seen it? No.
Of course, he hasn't seen it.
Still no. Still no.
Atomic, what did you think of Nobody?
Oh, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. From start to finish, it's just non-stop, isn't it? And like I say, it does sort of hark back more of the traditional action films we used to get. And just the monotony of his life. They sell it really well, that he's just sort of a downtrodden husband, hates his life, hates his job, and then there's this massive backstory that just explodes. I think it's a really, really well done film.
Matty, thoughts?
Oh, this movie is great. I love this movie. The bus scene is my favorite part. Yeah,
bus scene's fantastic.
It's because of Bob. He makes it work. I mean, everybody else is everybody else, right? The Russian guy wasn't all that. His performance was up and down, and and he was the typical bad guy, But it was Bob that made that film work. I mean, you really gravitate towards him as a person. So
he's just so unassuming, isn't he? Which is kind of the point. He just sort of blends into the background, and but these hands are lethal weapons.
But one of my favourite bits in this film, and it's only a small bit, is when he comes into the office and he throws all those gold bars.
Oh my god, I was just about to say that.
And then the son, mouths off to him, and he just punches him because when I was trained in martial arts a long time ago, if you hit the solar plexus right there, someone's not going to be able to breathe properly. He just gives him the perfect punch and tells him to breathe, because that's what you do. You'd hit someone, and if you can see that, you'll say, look, just calm down and breathe, you know what I mean? And that was a really good scene. That's the one that stuck in my mind. You had the bus scene, but that bit stuck in my mind for some reason.
Who starred? Who was his father?
Michael Ironside.
Christopher Lloyd.
Yeah,
Christopher Lloyd. Yeah,
his dad. He was badass as well, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like Connie Nielsen, the wife. I like her as an actress. But like Ian said, she just played her part. Like, it was nothing special.
So I would say, Rennie, you've not seen it, have you?
No, I have not.
I would say, everybody, if you're into John Wick, check it out. We go on about it every week practically, so it's genuinely a great film. 90 minutes. It's trimmed down, no fat. It's very good.
Hey. Are they ever going to change that picture, Lord?
Don't do it. I love it. And Ian, you ask every time. I love it. It's great.
Franco says, "What's it on? What platform is nobody on? Do we know,
That's a
folks?"
good question.
It's on Sky. I know that. If you're in the UK, it's on Sky. You can. I think it's part of Sky's package or whatever. You can watch it for free. But I don't know. I really don't know beyond that.
Franco, if you have problems finding it, send me an email through the about page, and I'll sort it out for you, mate.
Rajim lad. Yeah,
I think it's streaming on. It looks like it's streaming on Hulu and on Hulu.
Yeah, but Sailing the Seven Seas is better.
Right on.
Franco, Lord Sexy Mum. No, that is the Lord Franco. Okay, let's see. Let's see what we've got then, folks.
I am going on strike if there is more than one trans story.
There's only one.
Oh, thank fuck.
We did get a little bit heavy last week, but genuinely great last week. Anybody see this?
Yes,
the old geezer who.
I love the guy runs out and he's like, "You shot my arm off! You shot my arm off!" Or he blew my arm off. That's what he says. He blew my arm off. I was like, "Well, that's what you get."
So this youth walks into this guy's shop with look like an Uzi or a proper submachine gun, doesn't it?
Oh shit!
Yeah, I don't know what the gun was, but he walked in and was trying to rob the. Well, him and his friends. There was like 3 of them, but the other 2 didn't get inside the building.
This guy just literally pulled out his shotgun.
Good for him.
He didn't even he didn't even think about it. He just took the gun out and just bang.
I really hope he had like an Arnold Schwarzenegger style corny line that he said afterwards. Cool.
I think the video is actually all over the Twattersphere. Because you can see the youth running out to the BMW afterwards, can't you, Matty?
Yeah, because you can see them. They try to run away, and then like one of them gets out of the car and they almost leave him. It's pretty funny because they're stupid. And I think this old man, I think he said he had a heart attack afterwards. Like he had to go to the hospital. Yeah, I'm looking it up right now because I was like, I could have swore I saw that, and I was like, oh, this dude's tough as nails, shooting people and then going and having a heart attack and being like, I'm good.
So tell me, you got the Fox thing, not Fox as in the channel, but what's his name, Lawrence Fox thing on this section.
We covered that last week, didn't we?
Oh, because I thought that was pretty interesting when they waited for the police and they had a lawyer there. I thought it was really good.
Apparently, there was a bit of an update on that. Lord, hasn't some of the laws been abolished about the coppers just turning up for upsetting people?
Yes-ish. I mean, but that was already the case. It's the Royal College of Police and Guidance, which states that or used to state that the police should be proactive in investigating what they call non-crime hate incidents. And that changed ages ago, but it hasn't stopped some police officers just deciding to enforce it as though the change hadn't been made. And a lot of it's reintroduced in the online safety bill. So yes, it has technically been changed, but practically speaking, we're still in a state of affairs where, in this country at least,
be careful.
The police could turn up at your house for being mean to people. I quite like the one. There's been a few of these ones that have been doing rounds on Twitter, like this guy. There's another one with it's a young Asian guy he's a shop worker. I don't know if he owns the shop, and he like went at some thieves with a knife.
I saw that.
I've seen that one. Yeah,
it's an inversion from like the established norm. Normally, the Asians are on the rooftops with guns, and then that's where they take their sort of podcast from. But rooftop Koreans has now become in-store Koreans. And then there's one in if it's Brazil or I think it's Brazil, where there's been a real spate of moped-style muggings and sometimes moped-style murders. The same thing happens in Islington. So it's usually a couple of people on a moped will say drive suddenly in front of a moving car to make the car stop, then they'll get off the moped and then GTA style they'll go and break into the car and steal the car. But this became such a problem that the mayor of the city, in which it is a big problem, made it legal for motorists just to run down, as in ram into and run over moped thugs. Yes. And like having spent a lot of time in Islington where the same thing happens.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, City Khan won't do it, but it would be lovely if we had some 4x4s ramming into moped thugs. That would be great fun. Probably a complete collapse in law and order in civilized society, but it'd be really fun to watch.
The mighty Stephen Amore in the chat, we need Boris the series, although it would be a porno due to all the kids he's fathered and all the women.
Oh dear.
Those were work events.
Yes. While we were all locked down, he could go out and party. Never mind.
Yeah. Oh, well, can I just say something about that? The Asian store owner stabbing that guy. My favorite part of that video is the guy he stabbed. He's like, "Oh, he killed me. He killed me." And I was like, "But you're talking. You're not dead."
Yeah.
Like, it's the same thing with that guy. He blew my arm off. I was like, "Oh man, you guys got some great one-liners after you get hurt."
Here you go, Clifton, running the gauntlets in Brazil, GTA style, tremendous entertainment.
I'd watch that.
There you go. I think there could be a TV series there, Clifton.
Yeah, well, if Big Brother on ITV fails, that could be the next of reality TV.
Okay, so shall we move on then, folks?
Yeah.
This was the big news in America this week, wasn't it? Alex Jones, a very, very divisive person. Certain channels have dealings with him, don't they? Rennie, do you know anything about this story?
I do. I know he mentioned or he said some pretty unprofessional things about the Sandy Hook shooting. But this was back, I think, wasn't it back in 2012 or something like that?
It was.
When he said it? Yeah. So why they waited until now, I don't know. Maybe it just took that long to get court proceedings. Because I'm like, well, here we are 10 years down the line, and that's what I find kind of irritating about it is 10 years later, we're going to punish the man when we should have punished him 10 years ago.
Right.
But I mean, what he said was still probably not even probably. It just wasn't the right thing to say. Yeah. So, that wasn't good. And that was insensitive and all that. However, if you're going to come after him, don't wait 10 years.
Right.
So, I don't know. Now he's paying all this money out to these families and, which, hey, definitely should have happened back in the day, and I'm sure he can afford it. It's just, to me, it's,
maybe it's taken this long for it to come to court.
You don't usually see court proceedings taking longer than 6 to 18 months in America. So I just don't understand why we do, there's no statute of limitations for some of these things, and that's what I don't understand. There's a lot of things that have a statute of limitations, but when it comes to entertainers or entertainment, there really isn't a whole lot. I mean, look at what happened to Bill Cosby. It was his fault. He did everything, but this stuff hit when he was geriatric already.
Right.
So,
And he's out as well. He's out.
He is out, yeah.
Well, yeah, because he's an old man. He's probably gonna pass on.
Well,
soon.
no, he was out because the other side, the other lawyers, they found out broke the law or something, broke a rule. Or
Yeah,
something?
they
I can't
weren't
remember.
allowed to use, like, they used testimony that wasn't allowed to use from him, basically
Right.
admitting what he had done, but they weren't allowed to use that in the trial, and they did. So he went. So because they used that information, he was let out because they weren't supposed to. So.
I mean,
And that was like crucial to the whole thing.
Bunch of idiots, aren't they? Instead of sticking to the law, they cheated to try and get him in jail.
Yeah.
Even though he was guilty, they should have just stuck by the
Yeah.
law. So they've got they got themselves to blame that he's out. You know.
But happily for one side in this case, they don't need to cheat in that way because Alex Jones's own lawyer accidentally sent the entire contents of his phone to the prosecution. So I find Alex Jones absolutely hilarious, and he's best understood if you just understand that he's if you assume he's playing a character. I think in a long-running custody battle he had over his kids years ago, his defense at the time was he is just playing a character. And if you assume that that's all it is, he is fucking hilarious. And it's also just one of those, I think Shuon Head, the YouTuber, has an Alex Jones was right jar, just because the amount of crazy shit he says that just by complete fluke happens to come true. I don't think the frogs going gay thing is
I know, I was
true
going to
yet.
say the frogs.
And
Are we
the
talking
child,
about the frogs?
the child slave colonies on Mars has yet to be proven. But some of the other stuff is really good fun, and like there are aspects of this trial which were fantastic as well. At one point, the prosecution said, "Are you currently on your channel showing pictures of the judge in this case on fire?" And Alex Jones says no, and then they just cut away to his channel where, lo and behold, they are showing pictures of the judge on fire. It's just the whole thing is just high quality entertainment.
In the chats, Melvin Deeply, hello Melvin, I think he got off lightly. However, they took his livelihood away years ago. He's already been punished financially. He deserves punishment. But he could have paid more had they not stopped his income.
Just quickly, because I've not followed it closely enough to really get into the details. Is it what exactly is the grounds for the lawsuit? Is this libel or defamation or?
I think it's
defamation.
Defamation.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a sort of sorry.
No, that's fine. No, there was a bit of whether they're saying whether is it technically defamation, because if you knowingly say something that's untrue, that's defamation. He's saying at the time he said it in goodwill's with the right word given what he was saying, but he thought that was true. He subsequently found out that it wasn't true, and he apologized at the time. And I think on his channel he apologized. And so they're sort of saying, well, actually, it's not defamation in the law sense of it. So there's lots of toing and froing, and whatever you think of the guy, you do have to kind of go by the letter of the law, I think.
Matty, any thoughts?
I mean, I'm not really like hugely into Alex Jones. I never listened to a show beforehand.
Yeah.
So all of this is like I'll hear little tidbits and I'll be like, okay, well, I just really love the clip of him on Twitter where he says, "I'll eat your ass." That just makes me
yes, I die every time.
Have you heard the song though, the indie song that's remixed into?
No.
Yeah.
But now
That's fantastic. I'll send it
It's
after the show.
good.
Yes, please send it to me. I want to hear that. I'm excited.
There's the whole "Eat Your Leftist Ass" one. That's a different one. Yeah, there's a few of them. They're really good.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so excited.
My own thoughts before we move on is I haven't got a problem with what he said, perhaps. I just think sometimes you just need to keep your mouth shut. And I think that was one of them times.
Have you ever seen Alex Jones?
I was going to say,
Yeah.
he says some off-the-wall stuff
Yeah,
all the time.
Sometimes just keep it buttoned.
But yeah, definitely as a public figure, you have to be mindful of certain things that you say. And unfortunately, that'll, especially if they get you on tape or any sort of recording, then, it's all over.
I just think he should have just kept his gob shut. But anyway, let's move on.
Yeah.
Okay. This week's Lord Chord's favourite subjects, transgender stuff. They're coming into the cyclists now.
Oh. Hate all this rubbish.
Yeah.
Totally hate it.
I
And
just
Lord
can't.
Cord is very silent.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just squinting to read what the actual story is.
Ex-male cyclist has started taking part in female woman cycling, and apparently it's all to do with the amount of testosterone in the blood. So you can say you're a woman, and then you get tested. As long as your testosterone levels are below a certain level, you can compete.
Never heard something so ridiculous in all
That
my
is,
life.
yeah.
It's the years of being a man cycling and all the muscle development as a man, and the being a man at the genetic level puts the genuine female cyclist at a disadvantage.
I think, though,
Absolutely.
I could be wrong about this. I'm pretty sure the testosterone test predates the trans question. So the testosterone, I think many women's sports have always, or for a long time, had testosterone tests, because there are some people with, say, intersex or intergender, whatever you want to call it, characteristics. I think this was the whole Caster Semenya debate, which was not a trans question. This was a question of where people, like the 0.01% of people who happen to demonstrate certain sex characteristics of both sexes, whether they can compete and in which category. It's unfortunate someone like Caster Semenya having a whole question about testosterone, given that semen is literally in the name. But this is a slightly different question. I don't know enough about this particular story to say, but it's, testosterone tests has lately become used as a way to attempt to square the circle and to say, well, okay, maybe we can have trans representation in women's sports if they meet certain requirements, like the testosterone test that we've used for ages. But that test was always really difficult to apply and controversial anyway, so it's not going to make anything better.
This athlete won a medal,
Dave.
and it's been revoked.
But hold on. But the thing is, though, it's a man. It's a man. It doesn't matter what you want to label it as, trans, whatever, trans this, trans that, transformer. Who cares? It's a man. And so he shouldn't be competing in a woman's sport.
Yeah.
You know what? Women don't realize that men are trying to destroy women. Don't they see that? Can't they see that? And if they allow this, then women are not going to be able to compete in their own sports.
Crazy, isn't it?
I'll stop there.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
I actually agree 100% with you, Ian. As a woman, sorry, I had to do something real quick, but as a woman, yeah. If I was competing in this stuff and I had a disadvantage to someone who biologically is made different than me, because men can build muscle faster, they have a lower fat content, they have more endurance when it comes to certain things in certain sports. So if I had somebody like that competing with me, I'd be like, nah, this is bullshit. I don't want them in my league or whatever, So I understand completely.
I think the women that is competing in that sport should be ashamed of themselves that they're not standing up for themselves and not.
Well, that's the thing. If they're going to encourage it, and they're the ones that are going to speak up for this person and say, "Oh, they should be allowed to compete with us," then they have no one to blame but themselves when they lose to said person.
Yeah.
There have been a few in America, American female sports people in particular, who have started speaking up, but a lot of them, like in the first days, were doing it anonymously, precisely because they feared the repercussions of it.
Yeah.
You are getting more vocal opposition to this kind of thing now.
Yeah, but living in fear is not a good thing to do.
And it's self-fulfilling as well. If everyone says, well, of course I won't say anything because I'm scared, then no one will say anything ever, and there will never be a changing climate which stops you being afraid of speaking out. So I just think all these stories are just particularly tragic, because the vast majority of ordinary trans people will never enter a women's sports league. It has nothing to do with them. They're being dragged into an entire argument that has nothing to do with them, and it's being unnecessarily polarized. But the few small egotistical minority who can't make a single sacrifice, like not competing in elite sports, it's just dragging everything down. It's not pleasant.
Here you go. One in the chat. Hello, one. Female athletes should do a strike.
They should. They should, and they should
all of
be.
them.
Look. If independent women mean anything, they should stand up and fight against this nonsense. They really should. Yeah. Right. Well, if everybody goes on a strike, every one of them, there's nothing anyone can do about it at all.
Oh, yeah. Like Ben, you watched South Park. Did you see
Oh,
that
yes.
episode
Here we go.
with the
Here we go, folks.
transgender chick that looked like Macho Man Randy Savage?
Is this
That
the
was-
strong woman one?
Yes, and
Yeah.
she
Yeah.
like it was pissing off Strong Woman so badly, but you know this woman kept winning everything, and Strong Woman actually got mad, and she kind of spoke up to that effect. But it was just interesting to see. This was a couple years ago, and it's even worse now, and nobody's speaking up. You
But
know,
you did the whole Mr. Garrison sex change arc and him trying to get himself
Garrison.
fired
Oh
from
my
school
gosh.
so he can get a payout. That was like 10 years ago. That's
Yeah.
really way before its time.
I know that is so true.
I think we need to do a South Park special at some point. Okay,
Yes.
so shall we move on from this?
Quickly, please.
Only one story this week, mate.
Move on.
This week's Top Gun news. Before we came on air, Top Gun has made more money in the US than Titanic.
Yeah.
$650 million in the States alone. I think it's made the same worldwide. 10 weeks and it's still going.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Then the mighty Quentin Tarantino on his own podcast this week said, where it says there, I fucking love Top Gun Maverick.
I loved it, all right. That's what he said. That's what he said.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Okay.
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 Atomic, have you seen Top Gun?
I certainly have. Oh gosh, what an amazing film! I mean, 80, just complete throwback to. I mean, Top Gun was the first 15 I ever saw, and I was only
wow.
11. So
Nice.
I was like, I thought that's quite a good one to have. So when they first said they're going to do a sequel, I was a bit like, oh god, here we go, And
Yeah, how old were you? 15?
I was 11. It was a certificate 15, but I was, so you can work out my age. But I was actually 11. So
Right.
yeah,
Did you feel funny in the funny place when you saw them playing on the beach? The boys.
Oh my god.
I think I did fancy Tom Cruise there, before he had his teeth done, back in the day, and Val Kilmer. I mean the whole homoerotic thing obviously completely passed me by at that age. Watching it now, you kind of go, oh yeah, I get what they're on about now. But yeah, I love this film so much. I mean, it's just 100% 80s action, adrenaline, no fucks given, testosterone fueled, amazing film, and we need more of them.
We do.
It's just a pure movie, if anything.
Thing is, though, it let's be honest, it isn't a brilliant film. It isn't even a great film, but it filled a gap, a gap that everybody wants. They want films like this, and because we've had so much woke rubbish, we've all gravitated towards this. Plus, it's very wave the flag thing.
Fuck yeah.
Americans,
Patriotic,
yeah.
So
it's. I mean, I like the film. I wouldn't say it's one of the best films ever made or go that far, but I did enjoy it. And you can't ask for anything else other than go and see a film, eat your popcorn, enjoy it, and come out and talk about it afterwards. And this film does it in spades, doesn't it? You come out and you talk
very
about
nice, very touching scene with Val Kilmer.
Yes,
as well.
very.
lovely.
The film had heart.
Yeah.
And it was coming from the right place.
Yeah, from
And
his
it
heart.
wasn't trying to be. It wasn't trying to be anything other than what it was. Do you know what I mean?
That's
it wasn't
right.
dressing it up or pretending to be highbrow or pretending even to be scientific. With when the plane blew up thing. I mean, I'm pretty sure you'd be splattered into 1,000 pieces in reality. But hey, come on, it's fun. It's not meant to be taken seriously.
Well, a lot of people realised that it was kind of copying the end of Star Wars.
Yes,
the climax.
it's so
Star
obvious.
Wars film. Star Wars film. I will say, if you want to see a modern day Star Wars film, go see Top Gun Maverick. You won't be disappointed.
Yeah.
As Tarantino says, it was fucking great, all right. That's what he says. So there you go.
So as I said, 10 weeks and still going. I kind of think it'll probably last till September.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know what? Right, you got to take your hat off to Tom Cruise. I mean, he is a pure filmmaker, and he gives you more than what you expect in a film, and he takes his job very seriously. So you can't say that about a lot of actors these days, can you? So.
That's true.
Daniel Smith in the chat asks the question. I think this is at you, Rennie. What is a Star Wars?
It's a franchise that was created by George Lucas that was killed by Disney.
Yeah, we're
Okay,
right
It
on.
was Ralph Wiggum.
So as we
Oh my
say, in
gosh.
fact, we'll Bishop Moore. Top Gun 2 is an entertaining film, and in a drought of entertaining films,
That's right.
that makes it awesome. Fuck yeah, America. Yeah.
Mhm.
So I will say, guys, irrespective of what you think of Tom Cruise as a person, it's a great film. Go see it before it finishes.
Do you know? There's a film that Tom Cruise made, and I really like it, but a lot of people don't like it. But I've kind of seen it 3 times, but on TV accidentally, and I still like it, but it didn't do very well at the box office. It's called Night and Day. Have you ever seen it?
Yeah, I like
With,
that movie.
Diaz, isn't
Yeah,
it?
with Cameron Diaz. I
Not
think
seen it,
it's
not seen it.
quite cool, actually.
Yeah, I like that movie.
Yeah, and a lot of people hated it when it came out.
Yeah.
But I thought it was really fun. So,
I like that bit on the plane at the very beginning.
Yeah, in the beginning. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Yeah.
Okay. I think our channel's getting more popular. The sex bots are in.
Yeah.
No, just blocked the sex bot.
Yeah.
But of course,
Yeah,
made a
but they
note of
heard
the
you
website.
inviting
Yeah,
them to come on. So
If anybody wants the link for the sex bots, send us a message. We took a note before we blocked. Okay, so
Just trying to help a dude out, as
You should
Rennie would
charge
say
them
last
for
time.
sponsorship.
yeah, if they want to sponsor the channel, I'm up for that.
Yeah.
Okay,
This movie
so
was fucking shit, and if you want to get fucked, you will be done.
so this was the big news this week. We mentioned it on was it Tuesday? David, I can never say it, Zaslav
Mm.
binning Batgirl.
Mhm.
He didn't
basically-
bin it. He basically, what he did was he got the cans and he burnt it. And he took a torch to it and just literally burnt it all. But yeah, it's incredible. I actually applaud this. If I think he's doing what he is doing, then my hat goes off to him. But it might be just a ruse. Who knows? Who knows?
Has another film been cancelled as well?
There's talk of
Flash.
The Flash, and is it Supergirl as well?
Yes,
Yeah.
Supergirl.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
gone, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but didn't he say on that call that the Flash isn't canceled, that they will release it? They just have to
edit it or something.
Yeah, but there's a
Yeah.
couple of things he said that doesn't, that didn't work. Like, for instance, he said that he wasn't going to do Wonder Woman, and then when
There
he
you go,
did when they
Supergirl.
when they did the lineup, Wonder Woman was on the lineup. So you don't know what to believe, really, do you?
He was very vague in that call.
Yeah.
There was a lot of vagueness going on. But
I imagine that there's a lot of backroom
could-
sort of stuff going on. I know Z has a big robotic hard on for Mr. Zaslav, and to be honest, I enjoy anyone with the gumption to turn up and say, you know what, I think CNN should actually be a news channel. That's quite a bold suggestion.
right.
So the more of this kind of waste and nonsense that he cuts. Oh yeah, Gotham Knights. Yeah, that was the other one.
Yeah, canned as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great fun. If he is doing all these things, it is great fun at least to watch all the people panicking about the prospect of him doing this with their favorite silly non-money earning franchises. But he just seems to be going around just slashing everything. I feel like Ron Swanson when he hears that the government's making cuts. Just let me on the rim. I really want to watch it.
I really want to be there, like a fly on the wall thing, and
Yep.
really hear what he says in board meetings, stuff like that. We'll never ever get that chance unless we obviously become one of them. But
Unless he
it'd
has
be
Alex Jones's
interesting.
lawyers, in which case
Ooh.
just keep watching your phone.
What's
Watch
that?
out for the frogs.
What's that show? Somebody was telling me there was a show. It was about the making of The Godfather, but it's all actors
Oh.
playing
Oh,
the
the-
crew.
Is it The Offer? Is it
The
called
Offer, yeah.
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 Yes.
So, but thing is, I would like to see someone turn what's happening now with this guy
think-
into that.
Yeah.
Would you? You'd be
Yeah.
available to direct, wouldn't you, Ian?
Oh god, yes. Yes.
I think we want to hear though what's happening with old JJ, because Warner paid him $500 million and he hasn't made a single thing, thank God.
Well, they didn't
but,
they
you
didn't
know-
pay him $500 million, did they?
Oh,
They
yeah.
they basically promised him
Yeah.
that money, if
Lost the
he
contract,
made,
yeah.
but he lost the contract. He didn't get. The thing is, though, he's rich already.
Yeah, he doesn't care about that
so
stuff,
he doesn't give a shit. Yeah.
Well, we know he doesn't care about any franchises. He has no heart in his films whatsoever. Everything's just a mystery box, and I have no idea how to end it. And it's just
well,
Yeah.
as we've previously said, didn't we, Ian? We think JJ had the best intentions for Star Wars.
Yeah, he did. And you know what?
Mm.
Right? You can't say that JJ's not talented. He is talented. He's responsible for Fringe. He was responsible for the third Mission Impossible, which actually, if you look at that Mission Impossible film, it actually created a narrative for the rest of the movies with Benji and all the rest of them.
Yeah.
And
I loved Fringe. I thought it was a great show.
Yeah, and he did the first Star Trek movie, which I thought was a blast until obviously it went woke. But I just think it's because of the woke thing that I don't particularly think he's so as bad as everybody says he is. I think he just got caught up in the wave of the crap. That's what I think. But he still should have still should have stepped back and basically stand up and say this is bollocks. But he didn't.
Was it Mission Impossible 2? That was pretty good. 3, sorry.
3. It was 3. Yeah, he directed 3.
Yeah, that was okay.
Yeah, I liked it.
Right. Okay. So David Zaslav could be the new Messiah by the sounds of it.
Don't even show me that costume. Seriously. How annoying is that Batgirl costume?
It is the worst
awful.
one.
Obviously, we feel bad for the people who were involved on the film whose film got shit canned. But
no, we don't. They got paid.
Not really. Well,
okay,
not just
I'll
that,
take it
but
back.
they
Sorry,
took
cancelled.
on but they signed up and took on the project knowing that it was going to be a piece of crap. So I don't feel sorry for them.
But that's the thing, right? They knew it was a piece of crap, but they were accepting the money because that's what actors do it for the money. So
it's all
they
about the
care.
money. Yeah,
and also
don't pity them.
Michael Keaton doesn't give a shit if this film doesn't come out. He doesn't care about Batman.
I think it's probably a good thing that he isn't going to come out.
Did you see him?
He
did a talk at some kind of university. Did you see him? And he says, I have 3 words of wisdom for you before I leave. He did this big speech and he said, do you know what it is? I am Batman. He said it. He walked off. I thought it was quite funny, actually.
That's cute.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm waiting for someone in relation to one of these cancelled projects. I'm obviously cognizant of the money being paid thing. One of them, someone will at some point come out and say, well, it's not about the money, it's about the art. We've put all this time creating the art. And then you just turn around and you say, you're in fucking Batgirl. What
art? Yeah, exactly.
The picture on screen, folks, is Marvel president Kevin Feige reached out to the Batgirl directors.
Yeah, I love how he was like, can't wait to see what you guys do next. I'm like, well, why don't you offer him a job if you can't wait to see what they do next?
They directed a couple of episodes of Miss Marvel, didn't they?
They did the pilot.
They did the first one. And then they did that Bad Boys for Life movie.
That was terrible.
Oh, you didn't like it? I liked it.
I didn't like it because couldn't Martin Lawrence get into shape, for God's sakes? You know what I mean? It's like, oh, come on, you're starring in a film and you just let yourself go and just get to the gym or something, and then the story was just rubbish. It was just nonsense, the story. It really was. And I was anyway, whatever. Sorry, carry on.
I would just say hello to Andy Mouse. Hello, Andy. Okay, so do you think Feige was fishing a little bit then for some new directors?
I think the directors are getting very, very clued up now about Marvel. I know a lot of people that know a lot of well-known directors that said that they turned down Marvel projects purely because they do not own what they're directing. They've been told what they should do, and that's not really a way to.
Get you.
And they can only direct set the stuff, but the actors. So all the action is already done, choreographed, often filmed before the director even gets there. And they're like, "This is your little box. This is how I want you to do it." And that's why they have such young, inexperienced directors quite often, because they don't have to pay them a lot, and they're too scared to push back.
Yeah, I guess.
Time Prophet says the fact that Martin Lawrence isn't in shape was part of the comedy.
No, it wasn't. Don't be daft.
Wrong, mate. You're wrong.
It was Look,
Yeah.
he needed to go to the gym, but he
Cheers,
didn't.
Daniel.
And look at Will Smith. Will Smith still looked okay, didn't he?
Yeah.
And it was just ridiculous. Him sitting in a chair and going, it's just an excuse for him not to go to the gym, wasn't it? To play into the film.
Yeah.
Well, and
It's just
for the most
stupid.
part, for like at least until recently, women had to be in pretty good shape to be
That's right.
lead role in a movie.
Mhm.
And
Not anymore.
yeah, I mean, well, Melissa McCarthy opened that door, but like, you know,
Rosie O'Donnell.
yeah, well, not so
Double
much,
doors,
but
obviously.
yeah,
Double doors.
double doors, yeah. But like, for the most part, women had to be in shape to get these roles, and like
Yep.
men never really made them do that, and I just don't understand that. So like I get it, they were probably just happy that Martin Lawrence came back, but I agree with Ian, at least kind of try to care about your looks a little bit. I
Yeah,
mean,
of
we're having to
course.
look at you on screen, so
That
yeah.
was sort of the Russell Crowe approach, which is I'm only going to accept parts which allow me to be hairy and fat.
Oh my god. And my mom thinks he's so sexy, and I'm like, ugh.
What, now? Have you seen him in the last 10 years?
No,
Yeah.
I mean, he's gotten worse because like I've always thought he was gross and fat and hairy, so
I'm inclined to agree with that, yes.
Clifton says Melissa McCarthy opened the door and got stuck.
I just wound up letting everybody else through.
I tell you, Hollywood
Against
died
Shay,
when they cast so and so as Betty Rubble. What's her name?
Oh, that's Rosie O'Donnell.
Rosie O'Donnell.
Yeah.
I mean, there's that. If you look at the cartoon, she's cute. She's got a little waist, and she
Yeah.
giggles a lot. And
Not
then who
Rosie
did they cast?
O'Donnell.
Rosie O'Donnell. What the hell's that all about? Really? Oh dear.
Grim Bobblehead. Kevin F needs more crap DC stuff, so we expect less. For reference, see
But
Love.
this is
and
another
Thunder.
guy that had the best
Hello, Grim.
intentions for Marvel.
Mhm.
And then Disney takes over and he becomes this woke little twat, doesn't it?
Chose
Yeah.
poorly.
Yeah.
It is the weird thing, isn't it? Because Kevin Feige is one of the principal reasons phases 1, 2, 3 did hold together. I mean, it was his sort of
Yeah.
overarching stewardship, which did pan out. But it sort of makes you wonder what exactly has gone on with him. The fact that Phase 4 has been this disconnected, irrelevant, non-stop stream of nonsense,
Phase
apart
4.
from No Way Home, which wasn't even one of his films. So what exactly is? Did he just go on sabbatical and then put his name to the credits? It's like he's not even there. But apparently he's got a Star Wars sequel lined up in the distant future, which I'm sure will never get made. So we can look forward to that.
Yeah.
God
What's
willing.
this picture all about?
Okay, this is one of the directors released this picture. The Batgirl is on the left, and that's Keaton.
Looks awful.
Yeah, they
Who's the
shouldn't have
guy?
released.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like he's got man boobs.
He's got
It looks-
moves, yeah.
Yeah.
Multi-man boobs.
It's like, what the fuck?
That's one of the directors. He shouldn't have released
Yeah.
this picture. It's awful. It did not help
Oh,
them out at all.
At least it doesn't have nipples on it, so that's good, right?
Who's the
No,
guy
it's
in the middle?
Those bat nipples.
That's
one of the
one of the
directors.
directors.
That's one of the directors?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're joking.
I know he looks like a low-rate Batman villain, but he is actually
He
one of the
does.
directors.
Oh my god. I was
It
thinking
looks
the same.
awful.
He's
It
called
looks
the
awful.
Perm.
The
Yeah.
perm.
This is
Oh,
the director.
the
It was.
bummer.
It was.
Moving
This
on.
is the director that it was at his wedding that him and the other director found out that Batgirl got canceled.
Oof.
I was like,
No, this is a joke because he literally has bat boobs.
yeah,
This
it's
has
not a
got to
good
be a
picture.
joke. This can't be from the movie. It can't be.
It is.
I don't think it's that bad.
It's not actually from the movie, but the characters left and right are in the movie. It's like a production. Picture.
Doesn't look like Michael Keaton at all when I look
It
closely.
is because he said it's Keaton. Z, I beat you to it, mate. Is that the bummer? Yes.
Why has he got
That's a
wild
joke from
hair?
the other night. Because I think is he from Morocco?
I believe he is.
Yeah.
There are two, some aren't they? I mean, the
Yeah,
drinker
are
had
they
them on.
brothers?
Yeah, they're Turkish, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Turkish, right?
Turkish.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
I think it's probably a good thing that Keaton isn't going to be seen.
The
Not in
drinker
that-
had them both on, didn't he? And it was
Yeah.
incredibly awkward
Yeah.
because he was trying to be nice to them, and all his fans.
Yes,
hated
he
his
was,
Marvel.
he was.
Oh,
the
the
chat were
was
laying into the
unruly.
drinker. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely fucking
Yeah,
laying
we had
into
to
him.
moderate it.
I mean, I
was
like the
likely.
drinker,
It was likely.
but the thing is, he was too soft on them. you know, and
Well,
but I
they
really
were
do like
guests
the
on his
drinker.
channel.
Yeah, I
and I
guess.
don't think he
You can
wanted to
ask-
be rude to his guests.
No, but you can
Yeah.
ask difficult questions politely. And
Yeah.
I
You
don't
can.
think he was
Well,
necessarily
and he
doing
did that a lot of the time, but yeah, I get where you
I mean, he
guys
did
are
ask
coming
about
from.
the race swap, didn't he, on Batgirl? He did ask him that question.
I believe so, yeah.
And then when they gave the answer, he should have said, "What a lot of bollocks," but he didn't. So,
Right
you know
now,
what I mean?
Again, they're guests on his channel. He's
Yeah,
not
you
going
gotta
to
be
bring him on just to
respectful,
like treat him like
respectful.
garbage.
No, you
know?
don't slag them off at all. But
No, of course not.
Melvin Deeply, where's
But
not
maybe you
Brian
should've.
tonight? I think he's doing family stuff, my friend. But
Mm.
I will say, Melvin, you are very, very welcome to come on one of these, mate. We want you to come on, mate.
Fuck
Okay.
is that? Seriously, Michael Keaton with boobs and
Yeah, I can't
I
look at
do
it
like-
anymore. Can we get a new picture, please?
Yeah, we're doing it. Melvin,
was
you
just-
have an open invite, and the sex bots are back. So my
pausing
viewers
to
are going to be going up.
appreciate just briefly that Batman has bigger tits than Batgirl.
oh,
in
what
Batman
you
Arkham.
swapped this picture for this picture? Come on, seriously.
We get to look at Ezra Miller's boobs.
Oh my god.
Who would like to go first
Why?
on Ezra?
Not me.
Atomic, what do you think to the Ezra Miller situation?
Oh my days. I mean, he's a complete nut job. I mean, I don't know what else to say. And the fact that he seems to be allowed to run rampant and
Well, yeah, the caption says he could do anything he wants, yeah.
yeah, I mean, the things, it's not like this is like he was whiter than white and squeaky clean, and all of a sudden this big bombshells come out. There's been stuff for years, you know, around it, like, you know, choking that woman, starting fights, getting arrested.
Mhm.
I mean, the only thing, I think he must have some like blackmail material and some seriously high
We've said
ups
that, yes.
in Hollywood, because how his ass has not been fired, I don't know. And you know, you want to talk about role models, and if he's like, this is how, you know, a role model for the LGBTQ community. I mean, they're not doing them any favors, are they? I mean,
I don't know. I've heard
absolutely
that
shocking.
he takes a very close interest in the upbringing of children. So as a role model,
don't know. Don't. I have to feel it like I just threw up in my
Sprinkler.
mouth. But they have to. I mean, I guess not. I mean, they've spent so much money on the film, and I was watching another YouTube channel with Chris Gore on, and someone he
It's
knows
good,
has
isn't it?
yeah, has seen the film and says it's a good film.
It's good, yeah.
So you kind of look, actually, in some ways, I'm like, and it's terrible, but I'm like really disappointed, because you think, well, at least if it was crap, they could just. But obviously, it seems to be a good film. It could be a good vehicle for this new 10-year plan. But you've got this absolute psychopath in it. I mean, I think maybe, like say, bite the bullet, stick it on VOD, and then recast, or find a way to do a reshoot that they can kind of kill off this version of Barry. It's the multiverse, right? So bring in, or Flashpoint. So bring in a different version, and he can take over the franchise. And
Zaslav's got a problem, hasn't he?
He has. I mean, it's a PR nightmare. It's kind of in woke Hollywood, he's damned if he does, damned if he doesn't. The rest of the world, it's completely normal. We're like, damn right. But in Hollywood, the optics, that's all they worry about is optics, isn't it? So
in
but
the chat,
it's sort of peculiar. So like, I did a little bit of. It occurred to me the other day anyway. The difference in reaction. Ezra Miller goes around running cults, doing allegedly questionable things with children, heavily armed. He's on the run. He's hit people. He's abused people, etc. Ad nauseum. Kevin Spacey, on the other hand. Kevin Spacey is accused by someone who subsequently retracts the accusation of sexual indiscretion, which is a relatively minor sexual indiscretion, given that the guy lied about his age anyway. That's one thing, and Kevin Spacey then gets airbrushed from every film he's ever been in. Ezra Miller, on the other hand, can go around doing actual things, which are provable as well, which no one has ever retracted, which are very much more clear-cut, and yet we're not talking really about even the likelihood of the next film being cancelled. It's all, isn't it very inconvenient for them that this film will come out inevitably, and we'll all have to talk about Ezra Miller. Well, we all cancelled Kevin Spacey retroactively. We airbrushed him from history like George Orwell. Why the difference in reaction, if not for the fact
well, you know what it is,
Kevin
don't
Spacey
you?
is older and is stereotypically gay, as opposed to younger and stereotypically trans, which is the modern fad.
As we've said before, this fucker's got his Willy Wonka golden get out of fucking jail ticket, hasn't he?
He must have. I mean, because it's going beyond, isn't it? I mean, I get that, you know, certainly Hollywood. You know, we'll go to any lengths they can to protect, you know, certain political leanings, and certain set, if you're part of the alphabet community. But this is just like when children, and not a shocker though, but children are involved here, and the way that this never seems to faze Hollywood at all, it's just astounding to me. It's
that's because most of them are into the same thing as he's into. Yeah, that's why.
Allegedly.
I don't know if it's coming up, but did you see the whole hoo-ha with James Franco being cast as Fidel Castro? And they're up in arms because he's not Cuban or whatever.
Yeah,
well, he looks like him though. He looks like him.
He does, but the thing is, they're not up in arms. That based, he's been cast given all the, the things he's rumored to have got up to, and again, young girls, they're not bothered about that. It's like, oh, but he's not the right color. And you just think, what is wrong with you people? You've got no morals or scruples whatsoever.
In the chat, comments of the evening, Franco says, "Who is it?" Franco, we envy you, mate.
Yeah.
We envy you.
Don't open that can of worms.
Yeah. Rennie, any thoughts? Or has she disappeared?
She's asleep.
Oh, she disappeared?
I don't know.
Okay.
We do seem to have lost her, actually.
All right.
She'll be
must have
back.
popped off. Okay. Matt, any thoughts? And then we'll move on from this.
Oh, I don't understand why he hasn't been, ostracized. It's so I don't understand what's so great about him. Like, I mean, I liked him back in the day as an actor when he was in like that Wallflower movie. But other than that, I'm all like, I don't understand what's so great about him that they're just not ostracizing him from society, because it's just weird. It's just weird.
Once upon a time, if people did this, they'd just move to France and be hailed as a hero.
Wow.
The Arnold Schwarzenegger of the channel is back. Rennie, any thoughts before we move on?
It's just really not surprising that this stuff has gone down. I mean, it should be, but it's not. Ezra Miller is literally. I'm sorry, I missed out on what a couple of you guys have said. So if I repeat anything you said, I didn't.
No, you go for it.
But he is just one of these people that keeps getting away with more and more stuff just because he's part of a protected group.
Yeah.
And so he feels like he is untouchable. And I think he's going more and more outlandish just to see how much he can get away with, you know? And so he just figures, oh, well, they can't touch me, so I'll do this, this, and this. And it's just like, oh, this is just so cringe. I mean, at first it was kind of like, what? And then sometimes it's like, oh, that's hilarious. Nobody's really that crazy. And now it's just like, this is just sad.
Yeah.
So,
A friend of mine met him at the premiere for one of the DC films. And Ezra Miller tried to poach his boyfriend in front of him, which was dick behavior. But
he wanted, never mind.
Right, we'll move on from that. Okay, so Ezra Miller, either sort yourself out or fuck off.
Fuck off.
Brown's got room for you at his house.
Well, when you get to a certain age, Okay. This was announced this week. So Joker.
Bag of dicks. Sorry.
Yeah,
Yes.
Big old bag of dicks.
Joker 2. Couple of weeks away.
Lady Gaga.
Lady
apparently.
Caca.
Yeah.
Are they going to make it into a musical?
I was going to say,
Yes.
is it going to be a musical?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
but- No,
Why?
because when she was in American Horror Story, she didn't really. They didn't really turn that into a musical for her. But
But I
I
thought
still
they
don't think she's a great actress.
I thought they said they were gonna do a musical. I could have
Oh, did
sworn.
they?
Yeah.
Yeah, musical. Yeah.
I didn't see that.
Me, I just go. Listen, I'm not interested in that. I don't understand what. I mean, maybe it'll be good because I like the first one, so maybe they have a point to it.
Yeah,
but,
maybe they're confident enough to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, but me, I just go if just because you got a singer in your movie doesn't mean they have to sing. Like, I don't understand that whole thing.
It's Lady Gaga, though, isn't it?
Yeah, and good
is
for her.
amazing.
Good for
Yeah.
her. Yeah, she. But still, and like Rennie said, I mean, she's an all right actress, but a lot of people put a lot of they brag her up a little too much, in my opinion. Like, I think she's a good singer and I like her music, but I'm like, her acting, I just she's all right. She's not that great though, but whatever.
Yeah, I agree with you, Matt.
Joker Folie à Deux.
Yeah, which I just go, what is that nonsense? Like,
That's
come
for
on.
you're welcome.
But they're not going to make Joker 2, are they?
Yeah, they're
They
yeah.
seriously got
Yeah,
it?
like
Yeah.
she's
Yeah.
officially cast as Harley Quinn, which I'm like, oh, gross.
Oh yeah, I can see her being all like pretentious and being like, I went to an asylum and I stayed there for 6 months so I could get into the mind of a crazy person. And she'd go on all that, and then she'd be like, you know, out of a room full of 100 people, 99 didn't believe in me, but one person did, and you only need that one person. Remember when she went and did that line?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Over and over again. That
Oh
was
my
so
God.
good. I love that.
Melvin Deeply, they should put her in an alien film and call it Lady Geiger.
I'd watch,
Lady
watch that.
Geiger.
She's here all week, by the way.
Lady
watch that.
Geiger. That's funny.
I'd watch that though.
Did everybody like the first one? I did.
Yeah,
did.
it was.
What?
I was
Lady
surprisingly good.
Geiger.
No, the joke.
No, the Joker
Yeah, the Joker was a good film.
Yeah.
It was a good film.
made a
Yeah,
ton of
bad.
money for not much money.
Mhm.
Yeah, and they don't need to make a second one. That's my whole thing. You don't have to
Yeah.
make a second one, but
It
that's
was great as standalone.
Yeah. You can just, but maybe the second one will be good. You never know. It could come out and be really good and be like, oh, they did a good job. So
New face, Rich. Hello, Rich. So, Lady Leto.
right on.
Leto and Gaga doing a film together. That would be.
Well, they were in that Gucci movie together, The House of Gucci.
that's
Oh, yeah.
They were,
Right,
yeah.
yeah.
Is that any
They
good?
were.
It was okay. It wasn't that good.
So, average then. Okay. So,
Yeah.
are we looking forward to this? Yes, no?
No.
No, but I'll watch it. You know.
They should obviously stop when they stopped. But, you know.
Like Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn. Just no.
Well, there was the whole rumor that she was offered a role in that Birds of Prey movie, but she turned it down. Thank God she did that. But maybe it was just because she's like, no, I want, hey, Margot Robbie, I want your role. So unless you're going to give it to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Isn't like, it's probably a thing a woman shouldn't say, but isn't she a bit old to be playing Harley Quinn?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, Walking Phoenix isn't a spring chicken either. He's right up there. So
vegan as well.
He kind of works as Joker. I mean, the whole point of Joker was sort of aging unemployable, essentially blue collar American man, as opposed to. I mean, it's a real shame that David Zaslav wasn't in place before Suicide Squad was made, because then it wouldn't have been made.
Second one's good.
But absent that,
Yeah, I like the second one.
Yeah, second one's great.
yeah.
I've never seen the first one, but I
no, I was thinking
really
Birds of
like
Prey,
the first
wasn't
one. All right.
Mm.
I've not seen
Second
that.
one's really good.
Right then. Okay, we'll move on.
Oh,
Daredevil.
Hey,
Oh gosh, it's gonna be another one they ruin, isn't it?
gonna be.
I don't know.
Gonna get ruined.
It's gonna get ruined.
Disney, isn't it?
Yeah.
And they're doing are they doing Born Again?
Yeah, but
And it's going to be awful. It's going to be awful
God.
because they can't do it. Because the whole point of Born Again was that it was the downfall of Daredevil and all the horrible things that happened to him and all the people that he loved. So
Yes.
they're never going to go that close because Karen Page, she became a druggie. Do you know what I mean? She was one that gave up his identity and all that stuff. But then again, they can't do that because Kingpin knows Matt Murdock is Daredevil from the previous seasons. So, and did you see the latest She-Hulk trailer where he's in it?
Yeah,
he's in it for a split second.
What?
Well, the picture of his mask, the yellow, and got
But
released.
the latest one, you see him standing in the road, and he turns. So,
Yeah.
so he's definitely in it. So obviously, because he's a lawyer and she's a lawyer, so
The chat
bound
has
to-
come alive to this.
Yeah,
she's
Well, he
bound
does-
to meet Matt Murdock, isn't she?
Well, he does. They do meet. They do. They have lawyery stuff in the courtroom in the comic books and stuff.
Yeah.
And then in the recent one, I think it's the recent one. Yeah, they work. I think they work on a case where they're like going up against each other. So
yeah.
So they and it makes sense. Lawyers and lawyers. So.
But they'll
Z-
never get as raw as they did. In
No. But I mean, if they do it like they did with like Iron Man, they didn't touch on his, darker alcoholism. But I think they did a decent job with that.
Z in the chat. This
Yeah.
is.
But I do. Go ahead. Sorry. No.
No. You
Well, I
go
just want
first.
to one last
He
one last
gets
thing.
wankered in Iron Man too.
Yeah, I don't think that I'm not looking forward to this. But I am gonna watch it. But I don't necessarily think that it won't be good. But I don't know. You never. It's Disney, so you never know.
Matty, would you care to read Z's comments?
Yeah, let's do this. This is favorite Daredevil story ever. It's going to get massacred.
It is because the groundwork has been spoilt. As I said, the whole point of Born Again is that Daredevil's secret identity gets found out, and from that point on, his whole life gets destroyed by the Kingpin.
Yep.
But the Kingpin already knows Matt Murdock's Daredevil from the last season. Mm-hmm. So how is that going to work?
Are they bringing that whole storyline, those storylines over to this universe? Because I don't know, but if not, then they could, be like,
no. Well, how are you going to divorce yourself? I mean, Daredevil was only made what, a couple of years ago? Was it a couple of years ago? 4 years ago? 5 years ago?
3 or 4, yeah,
3 or 4. So how are you going to divorce yourself from that?
Well, us as the audience, we can't because we've seen it. But my assumption is that they're going to say that this Daredevil in the MCU is a variant. To that one, because that's what they're going with this multiverse saga. So
I did read that the part of the plans for the next phase of the MCU is that Spider-Man and Daredevil become the focus point, like the linchpin characters in what they're calling the local heroes story. And there's an interesting sort of there's a curious thing they could do with that, given the whole identity question, given that Peter Parker has gone through it. I think Daredevil was in briefly No Way Home, wasn't he?
Yes.
And that curious similarity. So they could, you could do interesting things if you did carry the season's story arc through to the mainline MCU. You could do stuff with that. Whether they will, well, they probably won't, because that would require some kind of creative imagination. But I've got this Stranger Things review going on at the moment, which is basically trying to look at the ways that recovered and how you could apply those lessons to the MCU to help that get back to some, not the best, but nevertheless better than it currently is. One of the arguments in that is that things like Daredevil and Spider-Man localizing stories and immediately raising the stakes, but also localizing the stakes, things that actually they're not weightlessly, unfathomably massive like Doctor Strange, could really be a good, solid through arc for the rest of the next phase of the MCU. So we actually have stuff we know that we can care about. So if they do Daredevil well, it could be really good.
Won't happen.
But it does rely on them doing it well, which they almost certainly won't, because they'll get
don't
distracted
care about
with the next. Yeah, the whole slate of Phase 5 films is designed to distract from what could be the stronger stories and not to add to them. So.
In the chat, Andy says Nerdrotic's fave show, Bishop Moore, Daredevil plus Disney equals poo. Franco, they're fucking up all the good films. The chat went mental with this. I get the feeling that this one is the one note that you all want it to be fucked up.
If you read Born Again, you'd understand what I'm saying. If you read Born Again, he finds out his mother, which they already did find out in season 2. He found out his mother was a nun in Born Again. As I said, Karen Page sells out his identity for some drugs. Foggy has an affair with someone, or whatever it is. It's a very human story. And also in the first season, they killed off the reporter, which he plays an integral part in Born Again. So I don't see how they are going to do Born Again with those sections missing. It's going to be awful.
Why?
It's going to be in title only, probably.
Yeah.
Kind of like the Bond films, title only.
Yeah. I mean, Uric, that's his name. Something Uric. He played the reporter in Born Again, and he was integral to the whole of that story. And they killed him off in season 1, and actually turned him into a black guy, which I hate race swapping.
Here you go, Grim Bobblehead. Disney have always churned out a lot of stuff alongside classics. Marvel feels like mass production. Throw it at the wall, and 2 in 5 success keeps it running with toys and merchandising. Yeah.
See, Born Again is going to be completely different because of those factors. It really is.
And it's so long. It's like, what is it, 18 episodes? That's like so many episodes. Like, it's
and Captain America's in Born Again. You know what I mean? So I don't know how they're going to do that, because Captain America doesn't exist anymore. You got Sam Wilson.
Well, that's who it'll be.
I know it'd be ridiculous because the whole point is that in the story, if you read it, it is Captain America, and he plays another part in the construction of the story. So, and also, Kingpin's right hand man, I can't remember his name, Finch. He's integral to this story as well. Yet he got killed in season 2. So I don't know what kind of Born Again are they going to do?
Iron Man also thought in Born Again.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I think it's going to go back to the whole. They're just going to be like, this is a variant, and the Daredevil on Netflix is not this Daredevil.
They're going to mess it up.
Sheev's in. Hello, Sheev. This is my top 5 shows of all time. They're going to destroy Charlie's work.
They are. They're going to.
This is going to be
completely destroy him.
I kind of get the feeling with what I've been reading in the chat and what you guys have been saying, this one's going to hurt, isn't it? Unless if it's spot on.
Well, they can't, as I said, they can't do it spot on because of those factors.
Yeah.
They can't. And they're just going to destroy it and do some kind of version of Born Again and put, stupid woke crap into it. That's what they're going to do.
Yeah.
So
in
I
the
shan't
chat,
be watching.
in the chat, Rich, hello, Rich, he asks the question. Here's a question. Is there a movie you're looking forward to that isn't DC, Marvel, or Star Wars coming out in the next 6 months that you're looking forward to? He can't think of one.
Look at I.
What?
I'd say
Stream Killer.
maybe the new Mission Impossible. I'm not sure if that's out in the next 6 months or not.
That's next year.
Next year. But it's 2 parts, isn't it? So it's going to end in
I'm looking forward to that Blonde movie. I don't know if that counts because it's on Netflix.
That's on Netflix.
Yeah,
it is a movie.
Yeah.
I mean,
it can be counted, I guess.
And I did want to see that. It already came out, but it's called Where the Crawdads Sing. I read the book a little while ago, and I liked it. So, but I mean, excited for that movie is not the right word to use for it. I did want to see it.
Right. Okay.
It is a really revealing question, though. I mean, it shows how much the entire market has been co-opted by, well, basically just the superhero genre. The idea that, if you're talking in the 90s and you'd say that at one stage we would get 30, 40, 50 superhero films, you'd assume that the person was talking nonsense because they would have been at the time. It's such a money spinning exercise. George Lucas in an old interview with I think it might be Charlie Rose actually talked about how weirdly in some ways in the 70s and the 80s in some respects, it was actually easier to get films made in the Soviet Union than it was in the United States, because in the Soviet Union, you had to please the government, but you knew what you had to do that. Whereas in the West, it's so money-oriented. It is so ruthlessly, so to speak, capitalistic. And I speak as a ruthless capitalist, that you could never really get anything greenlit that was brand new unless it was a sequel or a TV show which had the prospect of spawning an entire franchise. The franchisization, if that's a word, which I've just made up, of cinema by the MCU is really, really not doing good things for cinema. The only thing, I don't know what's coming out in the next 6 months. The only film that immediately comes to mind that I'm halfway looking forward to in I'm not just going to shit on this for my YouTube channel way, is going to be the next Dune film. That's the only one that's sticking in my mind is, I'm actually looking forward
next year.
And that's an entire year away. The rest of them, the only extent to which I'm looking forward to them is that this is just going to be more of the same garbage. It's getting more and more ridiculous. At some point, this thing will have to break. And these things, I mean, I know Thor's box office has basically tanked since the opening weekend. So maybe we are starting to see the shift now with audiences getting bored of this stuff. But we've got another good year or two. Well, that too. But even that's a sequel. We've got a good at least a good year or two before we actually start even beginning to conceive of new interesting films that get half as much hype and attention as Marvel film number 500.
So moving on, and speaking of hot potatoes, anybody see this?
Yes.
Peter Jackson ghosted.
Why?
Why is Peter Jackson ghosted?
They asked him to be involved, and then
what did he say?
Well, no, he didn't. He replied to them, and then they just didn't reply.
Yeah, he said, "Send me the scripts, I'll have a look," and they just didn't bother. They just ignored him.
Just didn't care. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's another thing, again, going back to that George, I think it's the same George Lucas interview when he offered Disney his help when they first bought Star Wars, and they said that they did not want him involved, or they were very cool on the idea of him being involved. They're really, really reluctant to tie themselves to the great works done by people before them, because that requires time, effort, thought, intelligence, money, and they could make much more money doing much more cheap and thoughtless things, like the entire MCU these days.
They also sacked the Tolkien advisors.
Yes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I don't understand why you would do that. It's so dumb.
Because he was telling them. Yeah, sorry, I'll say he was because he was telling them that this isn't Tolkien. You know, the characters they were coming up with, the language. He was just saying that this is all a bastardization. You can't do this. So they just sacked him for telling them about home dreams. Yeah.
Franco asks, "What does ghosted mean?" Basically, just
blanking.
Where you just don't
completely
respond to the
blanked.
person
Yeah,
anymore.
just- doesn't answer their emails.
Well, if somebody ghosts you, then that means they're dead to you. So just
or you're dead to them. But yeah.
Did you guys see that like clip of that like I think it was like a European trailer or whatever of Galadriel running on top of the sword and jumping and going off?
No,
it looked like
it
looked like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. I was like, what's going on here? She's like practically floating. I'm all like, this is ridiculous. I was like,
I don't know anything about Lord of the Rings at all. I saw the films. I think I saw 3 of them, and that was enough for me. But I saw the trailer where the girl was hanging off by a knife on a
that thing where they looked at Game of Thrones and thought, oh, that wall sequence looks good.
And I love how
garbage.
It doesn't even make any sense. She doesn't even like fall a little bit. She just like jumps over and then stabs her knife. I'm like, we need 2 knives for this to work? I was like, this is ridiculous.
Well, and you have to understand, like anybody who's read Tolkien, like actually read Tolkien, would know that that's not Galadriel. Galadriel wouldn't do that. When it came to the kinslaying, she did not participate. Even though she was kind of bound by her uncle's oath, she never partook in it, and so she did not go around dressed up in like elven armor or anything and stabbing people or things, or thinking she's Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. That was not Galadriel at all.
But it looked like a CGI thing, that bit where her knife.
I just couldn't even
face
watch
didn't look
it.
real at all.
Given the astonishing budget as well, the idea that they can't even get that right.
$55 million per ep.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which is ridiculous.
It is.
Yeah,
everything about this
that's
is ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm just going to call her Rey Skywalker from now on.
I saw something today where they were advertising it and they had all the characters coming towards the screen. And then when I saw Lenny Henry, I just burst out laughing. I was like, "That's Lenny Henry. What the hell's going on?"
They know it's shit, and it's just damage limitations now, isn't it? They're just doing their damnedest to polish a turd.
But I honestly, I cannot think of a single example of so much money being spent to get so much wrong from the outset. The number of things that have already gone wrong.
They're knowingly doing it wrong. They literally said,
"Speak up, Ronnie."
In an interview recently, that yes, they know that they've injected modernism into it. They've done it on purpose, and they don't care. So that tells me that they're not looking to be faithful to any of the source material, which they don't have the rights to anyways.
Nope.
And they're only looking to subvert expectations, or whatever you want to call it, just for an easy buck, because they're using the Lord of the Rings name. That's it.
Which, which I just go, listen, I get it. You guys want the IP, but if they would have made this show and not called it Lord of the Rings, I'd be like, all right, I'll watch that. If it's just a fantasy show, I'll watch a fantasy show. But the fact that they called it Lord of the Rings, I just go, oh, well, now I'm just going to shit all over this show because.
Lord, would you care to read Time Prophet's comment and then we'll move on?
Oh, technically, it's J.R. Tolkien's comment. Evil cannot create anything new. They can only corrupt and ruin what good forces have invented or made.
It's just the irony. Just irony.
Yeah, it is. This has the potential to be at least a Last Jedi level fuck up.
Everything has to be worse.
I mean, given I think arguably worse, certainly from a lore perspective. I mean, at least the Last Jedi looked at Star Wars lore and said, we don't like it, but we're just gonna fuck with it. At least they had some reference to it. But Rings of Power is looking at the entire
Destroying
established
it.
lore of J.R. Tolkien and saying, fuck it, we're just gonna do something else. It's gonna be extraordinary to watch this. I'm perversely looking forward to it.
I think all the channels are going to do very, 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 very well out of this, assuming they watch it.
It's a golden goose, isn't it?
It is. It is.
Yeah.
It's great. This is my very close second favorite work of sort of human creative imagination. I mean, Star Wars is my favorite franchise. Lord of the Rings pushes it for a very close second.
Wow.
To have both of these things fucked up in a single year is just it's extraordinary. It really is. Yeah. The only good thing I can find to say about this so far is that Howard Shore is apparently back to do the soundtrack. Also, my channel will do well, but Howard Shore is back to do the soundtrack. The only thing he's done well is the Lord of the Rings. None of his other soundtracks are particularly good, but
I agree with
at
you
least
on that.
he's back, so it could sound nice. We'll give it that.
Last comment from Stephen. This is for the British peeps. Lenny Henry's high point was Trevor McDonald.
It was.
I think we're going into overtime on 2 hours, folks.
It's really funny how they go that, Lenny Henry's like 6 foot and over, right? He's a very tall guy. And they made him a freaking hobbit. What the fuck? Do you know what I mean? It's like, what?
This dropped this week. Amber Heard offered 10 million to star in an adult movie.
I think
What do you think, folks?
I'd watch it.
Go for it. She's a stripper.
You know what she'll say? She'll say no, and then she'll secretly do it. And then when she's in court, did you do that movie? Well, I try. She wouldn't answer the question.
She might be a good fit for a scat film, but
German backing, yes.
Before all this, I thought she was hot as hell, though. Before all of this,
she is.
The same joke at the same time.
Cheers, Clifton. You can come
crazy
back
hot scale. Crazy hot scale. She's there.
I will say to Clifton, you can come back here anytime, mate. Very well done.
Right.
So I think we're going to watch that if she says yes.
For sure.
I will get the Kleenex at the ready. Okay, let's move on.
God.
This dropped, this dropped before we popped on. I just thought I'd put it in. 44 years ago today, the slow motion picture started filming.
I love this movie. You guys don't like it? You don't like it? You guys don't
I like it.
It's flawed, but compared to what we get nowadays, it's a masterpiece.
I mean, it's very. It's a prototype to TNG, wasn't it? That is, when you watch it now and you think about TNG episodes and number one, all of that, that was kind of the model, which wasn't, OG Star Trek to most people. Hence why, thankfully, we got the amazing Wrath of Khan. But it's it's got Roddenberry's DNA written all through it, hasn't it?
It's because of this film. It's because of this film we got Wrath of Khan. This film did do well. But everybody realized how bad this movie was. And they realized that it wasn't. It was Star Trek, but it wasn't. And so when they made Wrath of Khan, the budget came down considerably. And then they basically went back to basics.
But it was such a better movie.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
They hired the wrong director. They hired a guy that directed freaking, what is it?
West Side Story,
West Side
Andromeda's
Story.
Strain.
Do you know what I mean?
Which is a great
It's
movie. Andromeda's
why
Strain.
would you hire someone like that?
To do a
Robert
sci-fi
Wise.
movie.
Yeah,
Robert
you
Wise.
wouldn't do that.
I mean, I've not seen it, but I've heard the director's cut is meant to be better. But I don't
it's
No,
really
it's not.
good.
No, it's not.
Okay, different opinion there.
It's longer.
Wrong one.
It's very 2001-esque, as in it's kind of an event. You kind of.
William
Ian
Shatner's acting in this is terrible.
Well, it's a bit wooden, yeah.
But anyway,
please sit down.
Yeah. What about the bit? Bones, we need you. I need you. I need you badly. Stupid line.
Flawed masterpiece, in my opinion. But there you go.
How could a masterpiece be flawed? Then again, it can be, I guess. You're right.
I am right. Thank you, Ian. There's a first.
No.
Some billboard, somebody's paid some of their own money to do some billboards in the States. How fantastic is that?
It is fantastic.
Yay.
She was loved.
Nichelle Nichols, who died last week. Yes.
Yeah.
I saw one of those actually. So
Did
Really?
you?
yeah, I passed by one on one of the fields here. So
That's
I don't know if that was
Texas,
an
yes?
invite. Yes, that is Texas.
Did you get your AC fixed in your car, Rennie?
I didn't have any issues with my AC.
No, I think it was
Really?
me. I think it was me who had issues. No, I haven't fixed it yet. Okay.
No, it takes a
Okay.
while to cool down. It's because of the fact that I have leather seats.
I see.
Oh, yeah.
It was like sitting on fire when I went in her car.
Because
Bloody
leather
hell.
seats. But I did have an issue in my townhome, and I just figured because my AC was leaking, like the inside unit was leaking, and I was like, it wasn't getting very cold, but I'm like, well, it's also 100 something degrees outside.
Speak up, Ronnie.
But then they fixed the leakage, and now it's like super cold. So
Well, all right. So they fixed your AC.
yeah.
They found a bag of dicks in there. That's why.
Yeah.
Now it's working.
They're like,
Yeah.
this is what's blocking the airflow.
Half a dozen dicks. Okay. So lovely touch. Billboards up on the highways in the States.
Brown, they're really trying to throw you a bone here, literally. The bots. Sorry.
They
Yeah,
are.
they are. They've been shot out of a cannon.
My beautiful mods have been taking care of them. But
Try to help you out, dude.
After,
That's right.
yeah, but it's good for the views.
Mm.
And finally,
out.
perhaps I should reach out to them and get sponsorship.
There you go.
Do it.
Do it.
Did anybody see this?
Yeah.
I didn't, but it's
Facebook
making me so happy. Look at that kid.
Somebody in Blighty, I think it was an Instagram or a Twitter, did this is our beautiful daughter who looks like Woody Harrelson. And to his credit, Woody Harrelson wrote a poem back. He picked up on it. I just like it is
That was
genuinely
really
sweet.
nice. Yeah, I was like really shocked. Even though I'm like, okay, well, first of all, that's just a baby, and Woody Harrelson's bald, so there's the comparisons and the chubby cheeks and all that. But I don't think she looks like Woody Harrelson. But I thought it was very sweet of him to respond in the way that he did. I did not expect that. I thought he was, maybe not such a nice person because of all the money. So
I was going to say maybe they should make him godparent. You never know.
yeah, that's an obligation he might not want.
Yeah. There's something about Woody Harrelson. Every time I see him on screen in films, that tells me there's an intelligence behind those eyes for some reason. Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah,
I think he's a weirdo.
Really?
I like Woody Harrelson.
Yeah,
I really like him.
He's
There's
a
something
great guy,
about
but
him.
just weird.
Not
So
to be
weird.
pretentious about this, but I'm just looking at it. That is actually a surprisingly accomplished poem in terms of.
Yeah.
Going to read it out.
You're an adorable child, flattered to be compared. You have a wonderful smile. I just wish I had your hair. But if you go into sort of how poetry is structured, so there's rhyme, which is one thing. But actually, if you go into it, most poems are like iambic, so that's stress patterns, and also the number iambs are determined by the number of syllables in each line. That is actually, I think, I could be misreading it. That is actually technically a pretty perfect poem. And it's obviously quite tawdry in its measures. That's surprisingly good. Most people can't do that. That's impressive. I like that.
That's what I'm saying. I think he's very intelligent.
Good at jumping as well, according to Bigot.
Actually, in White Men Can't Jump, he could not jump.
No, he couldn't.
Stop spoiling it. God's sake. Okay, so I genuinely think that's the last slide. Please consider donating to the channel. Links in the description. Subscribe. Leave comments in the description. Blah blah blah. You know what to do, guys. I will thank. As soon as I press this button, I'm going to be a boomer. Bear with me. I will thank the peeps in the chat, always bringing your A games. And as I always say, we are truly nothing without you guys. Great to see some new faces. Yes, Bridget, free eye test, thank you. A genuine privilege to have you guys with us every Sunday. So many thanks for that. I will thank the guests in order of my screen. Renier, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for having me on. Good to be back on a Sunday. So
Great to have you on.
yeah, miss chatting with you guys. We're gonna have to work on that opening now.
Yes, I'm open to suggestions. So okay, Ian, thank you.
No worries, guys. No worries.
How did the shooting go, if I may ask?
Did you shoot someone?
Yeah, I shot shot someone. I'm on the run now.
This is Rebecca Gold. Yeah.
No. The shooting went fine. It went fine. It wasn't stressful at all. It was just hot in the studio, because it was very warm and people I had to get the runners to keep getting water and orange juice for people and stuff like that, which cost me a packet.
And
but
moving
apart from that,
lights.
everything went well. Everything went well.
Fantastic.
Good. Can't wait to see it.
Yes.
I can't wait to see it either. Yeah.
And seriously, Sundays would not be the same without this guy. Matt Katz, cheers, my friend.
Oh, thanks for having me. I always have a good time.
Yeah.
And
fuck the rest of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will just break order. Sorry. Lord Chord, thank you, my friend.
Thank you as ever.
And we look forward to the numerous reviews dropping this week.
BBC voice, Lord Chord.
Yes. And last but by no means least, Atomic Blonde. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for the invite. I've had a lovely time. It's nice to meet everybody. And thanks to the chat as well, keeping us on our toes. So I had a great time. Thank you.
I will put all the links to the guests in the description. So I think that is it. Possibly we may be turning up midweek. Don't know yet, but either way, we'll be back next Saturday. Definitely on the Sunday.
What's the movie on Saturday?
That's a good question.
What's that? What's that?
What's
I
the
don't
movie?
know yet.
Oh, what's the movie? Oh,
Yeah.
We don't know yet.
Well, the last one was such good fun. We could always do Tron again.
Oh
Well,
no!
actually,
You had to go there.
the
No, you oh no, triggered. You've triggered.
last one was actually Bond, which was yesterday.
Yeah, it was
But,
good.
It was. Good point.
But yes,
do.
Tron Legacy, I think would be a good idea.
I would actually be happy to do that because I quite like that film.
Oh,
That's very self. Well, okay. We will decide during the week. It's all in the air. So either way, folks, stay safe. Enjoy your week. It's going to get warm in the UK, so definitely stay safe and hydrated. So take care, everybody. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.